All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this epic live stream here, brought to you by a joint collaboration, not just the Real Bravado Network. My name is TJ. In just a short minute, This Might Be Risky, Messy Michonne Live, Almani 78, Grown Folk, Grown Talk with Kofa, Black Man Unfiltered, and the Kosher Clinician will be here breaking down the historic movie, The Color Purple. All right, so listen, this is how this is going to roll in just a minute, all right? Those of you watching from the various channels, if you decide to continue to support like you normally do through super chats and cash apps in your comments, make sure you continue to do that on Cash App Messy Michonne, Cash App Super Chat Messy Michonne. Same thing with This Might Be Risky, the Real Bravado Network, Cash App Almanize, and Black Man Unfiltered. And don't forget the Super Chat Kofa as well. When you do that from these various channels, those content creators will receive that support that you provide from their channel, okay? All right, I just wanted to make sure, and also want to let everybody know that there's nothing wrong with the channels. I'm supposed to be here, okay? All right, sit back. We will be with you guys in just a few moments, all right?
Ain't no ocean, ain't no sea, Mackie Dada. Keep my sister away from me, Mackie Dada. Right, nothing but death can keep me from it.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
I'm going out for a spell and I want my supper when I get back.
I smile, but I'm still longing. Harpo be in love with a girl called Sophia.
No need to think I'm gonna let my boy marry you just cause you're in the family way.
Just don't make me wait too long, Harpo. All my life I had to fight. I ain't never thought I had to fight in my own house.
Would you like to work for me? Be my maid?
Hell no.
I know something's coming.
You've been on my mind.
He beat me when you ain't here.
'Cause honey, this
He beat me for not being here.
You're poor, you're ugly, you're nothing at all.
And I got what it takes to rock the mic right. Seeking a place where you're free. And I got what it takes to rock the mic right. Still watch what you say out your mouth, cause 50 shots still turn the gun down. I'm Mr. Hood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling. Get that when I'm traveling. Six pack wood when I'm traveling. Hood when I'm traveling.
I told y'all 23 was the year of the fucking husband. I'm gonna find me a husband. I still got time left and some prospects. So yeah, 23 is the year of the husband. Yeah. So in 24, be looking for that information from me. Look, I don't know. So you with that little bit right there, you
you ever felt.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We need to start learning how to tell.
Fire. For your mind. Culture clinician.
If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toast them. Young heads picking back up and young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues. Absent fathers who miss you. Mama drama don't kiss you. All a part of the ritual. This is how they get you. Separate the men, women, clipping babies pretend to. Damn. Lovers, haters, acting like vultures. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen. Listen.
Makeup, weave. Hey, spiders, makeup, weave. Hey, we got a new song. We got a new song. You all are the gift that keep on giving us, 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 on giving us. Hey, hey, makeup, weave. Hey, spiders, makeup, weave. Hey, spiders, makeup, weave. Hey.
Damn hair. I was like, look at all that pretty ass hair.
Oh, that's weave. I don't even want to hear it. I'm gonna let y'all know.
What are you talking about? That's weave.
Normal.
What are you talking about?
Normal. Ain't no all the way down to my ass. Ain't all the way hanging around. Ain't passing to my head. Okay, I'm just saying. They know. Shout out to the besties.
They know. See, I'm thinking. I'm up there looking. I'm like, is that all that? I thought that was Bashan's pretty hair.
It is. Bought and paid for by me. All good in the head.
Goddamn. Well, welcome everyone to the Epic live stream. Once again, thank you guys, Messy Michonne and her people. This might be risky. Thank you for joining us. Growth Talk with Kofa. Take heed to the message. The kosher clinician is in the building. And also, we cannot forget about our girl, and I, 78, is in the building. We got some work to do tonight.
Sure enough.
So I decided, well, about a month ago, I'm at the movies and I see a trailer for a new, I don't know what to call it, an update, a revamp of The Color Purple. And I about fell over because I'm like, we are not doing this again. But apparently we are. So last night, Michonne, I decided to watch The Color Purple. I don't think I've seen it. When was the last time you seen prior to this stretch? When was the last time you seen The Color Purple?
I don't know. It's been years, like many, many years that I had to rewatch it.
Yeah, so did I. I probably was in my early teens, late teens into my 20s. I think the last time I actually saw it. So when I rewatched this sucker last night, I was like, damn, I was just blown away. And you know what you know what the one question that I came away with? You'll never guess what the one question I came away with.
What?
Is Suge Avery a hoe?
Yes!
Yes! Is Suge Avery a hoe? Yes!
Yes!
He's a hoe!
Yes! Absolutely! Yes!
It's been transitioned down year over year over year. So now everybody's whoredom we taking into 2024.
I could not believe Suge Avery's a hoe.
Absolutely! Yes!
And here's the other thing, Michonne. I didn't realize that Suge Avery, she turned out Celie.
Yes.
She turned her out. I could not believe that shit.
Lesbianism, or I guess that's what ABCD LGBT. Let me act right. ABCD LGBT up in The Color Purple, which I remember, which is part of the thing that I really didn't like back then. I didn't like it then. It made me uncomfortable.
Whoa!
It made me uncomfortable.
Let's ask everybody else. Did they know Suge Avery was a hoe? Let me see. Let me bring everybody else up here. Did y'all know? Hold on, Armin. I'm not forgetting you. I'm just having trouble with my computer. Did y'all know that Suge Avery was a hoe?
Yes.
Yeah, she was a hoe.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes! Absolutely! Yes!
All facts.
I did not know Suge Avery was a hoe.
Yeah. She was throwing that pussy from the barn door. She was throwing that pussy from the barn door.
Not from the barn door. Oh my God. Yeah. Yo, I really didn't realize it before, but when I just rewatched it and then I said, that's why your pastor father don't mess around with you.
He said all the kids got different daddies.
Yes.
You remember when it was on the porch? And Mr. Daddy was like, she set the was it Hartwell County a new high?
Yes.
She was the original hoe.
Yes, passed down to all these generations now.
Yes.
And I hear she got that nasty women's disease.
Yes.
She done passed it down to she done passed it down to Megan Good, Lori Harvey, all these hoes.
Oh, we naming names.
So I'm mad with y'all because y'all all should have knew that Suge was a hoe.
Yeah. Like you read the book.
It's silly. When she
I did not read that book.
I did not read that book.
Oh, please don't. Because when I tell you it's y'all think she got turned out.
It's way worse than the movie.
The book was something different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I would never read that.
Yeah, I ain't read no book. I could not believe. I said not only did she was Suge a hoe, she turned out Celie. I was like, God damn. Suge is she's the original.
She's the original.
She was the Cardi B of the 80s.
Oh no, with the naming.
TJ, you know what I took away from her the most is how she still got any man she wanted.
Yep.
And they was all ready to be with her, regardless of her whoredom.
Right.
So I think it actually pointed out how many niggas be fronting and how many niggas actually be wifing up, quote unquote, whores and don't want to admit it.
Yes.
But sitting at the table decorating them Easter eggs And it was like he was like, "Yeah, you had it your way, and I had a mine." And she's sitting over there listening, just snickering. You remember that?
But
that was crazy.
But guys,
Crazy.
if y'all pay attention, the movie is actually following Oprah's life. When Suge Avery and
You know
Celia was in
what?
there kissing, it was actually
That was
Gayle
Gayle.
King and Oprah.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
The disclaimer: each person is for their own thoughts or whatever you want to call it. Child.
So Ham, are you telling
You
me?
get a lick. You get a lick.
Ham, are you telling me? Are you telling me, Ham, that black men love hoes?
Goddamn.
Yes.
I think black men love hoes and shadow chicks. They love
A lot of
hoes
cats,
and
a
shadow
lot of
chicks.
cats don't have a plethora of chicks chasing them. So when they find the one that's facially acceptable, they keep her. They just move her to Wisconsin.
Yep.
Hey, first of all, yeah, I'm talking about my home state like that.
My fault. My fault.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
TJ, first of all, let's not just pass that by, TJ, because it's an honor to meet the first black man I've ever seen come out of Wisconsin. They say you can piss outside and it turn into a sword when it's cold out there. So I just want to thank God for you, brother.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. And Wisconsin is where hoes go to retire. I'm letting you know that right now.
Hold it.
Yes.
Yep. My grandma gets pissed off all the time because I be like, my mama a hoe, right?
Yes.
You say who a hoe now?
Unfortunately, my mama, she a hoe.
Yes. Yes.
My favorite drop.
That's why he's trying to go ahead and get y'all to accept that. That's why he can give y'all the blueprint on how to get that.
But you know what though? If more kids, you know what though, TJ, the real talk, man, I applaud you for that vulnerability. Because most women and men out here need to know and understand that their mama were hoes.
My mama told me when I was 14. When I was 14, she told me she was out.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Jesus went up on the cross and they had her booted over the cross. And I'm telling you, it's some of these women. If you go and I'm telling you, if you go DNA test the 20th century, half those kids don't belong. You ever seen those old pictures at the house where all the kids are dark skinned? There's that one kid in the corner that's yellow skin. That's Deacon Johnson's daughter.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yes.
Yeah, they all that private.
Coach, you know I'm not lying. Come on, Coach, you know I'm not lying now. Talk to me.
Well, you know, Isaac Hayes said I stand accused, man. So
come on.
I guess I stand accused, man.
Okay, y'all. That's enough. Let me put y'all back down so y'all can get this thing rolling. Y'all here making me act out.
Yes.
Calling people mama hoes and stuff. Y'all to be shaming yourselves. We'll be back. We'll be right back with y'all in the bed. Oh Lord, my goodness.
Crazy.
Yeah,
That's
crazy.
fun. That's fun.
Yeah, I was like, how I'm gonna start this out, how I'm gonna start that out. And when because when you're trying to put these streams together, a little inside thing for those watching, you're really trying to figure out, how you're gonna start. You want to start strong. And I was trying to figure out how to start this real good. And then I watched that movie and realized that Suge Avery was a hoe. I said, there we go.
There you go. That's always a good part. You should have my drop. Let me know you wanted the drop for you.
I know. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, here's what we're gonna do tonight for everybody that's watching. Oh, first of all, please, guys, wherever you're watching from, don't forget to super chat your content creator and support them, the super chats, and we will get to the super chats throughout. We will do different breaks for the super chat, so we won't be acknowledging them as quickly as we normally do, because we want to get through the content. So I want people to know we want to encourage you to continue to support. We won't be forgetting about you. We will get to the super chats. But what I wanted to talk about, Mashawn, is off rip to get us started on this conversation, and the complete breakdown is the controversy. The controversy that actually started out with the color purple. Now, growing up for me, I didn't realize that there was some controversy surrounding the color purple, because for me, when I actually first saw it, statute of limitations is up. Yeah, my grandma got the shit on bootleg. On a bootleg, it wasn't bootleg VHS. We had a beta.
Okay.
we had a Betamax thing So we got it on bootleg, and I saw it at the house while I was at the movie theater on bootleg, and we got to see the people walking through the theater with the popcorn and talking and all of that. A lot of people don't know about that. When they get bootlegs now, it's straight ripped, so they don't get all that, somebody with a camcorder in the movie theater recording the stuff. They don't.
I remember that. Okay. You crazy.
So I don't think my earliest memory of The Color Purple is really sitting around watching my grandmama laugh, shout, talk to the TV, scream at Mister. Her favorite part of the movie was when Celie spitting at Mister's father's water, and then told him, next time I'll give you a little sugar A&P. See how you like that? That's my grandma's favorite scene of the thing. So so maybe you can help us walk through. I got a clip about the controversy, but for you, when you first heard about The Color Purple, what was so controversial about it?
The Color Purple originally, or what's coming out now?
The original Color Purple.
So I didn't know about any controversy. I have to be perfectly honest with you. I did not hear about anything until I came to YouTube. It was just a movie that, we saw. My family saw together, and it comes on ever so often. It's not a go-to movie for me, which is why I haven't seen it in years, because it's so emotional for me, because it makes me mad, it makes me sad, it makes me cry, it makes me laugh. It does everything. And I think it's almost 3 hours, if it's not 3 hours. So I didn't look at it from the perspective that I know a lot of you do. So now that I've rewatched it, I kind of, hear what people have said around here on YouTube. I'm just like, honestly, it don't look good for none of us, but it is what it is.
No, it don't. And growing up, I don't think the vast majority of us really looked at it from a controversial standpoint to begin with. It was just a movie. But as men start to develop and come into their own, and they start reflecting back on their image in media, that movie is a flashpoint for a lot of guys. I know a lot of guys in the space, especially, God rest his soul, Kevin Samuels, he referenced it a lot when he talked about the black male image. And that's why I called it originally, or asked the question, was this the original hit piece on the black male image of The Color Purple? So I was really concerned about that. I got a clip from, I believe is around the time that the movie came out, and Dr. T. Hassan Johnson put this together. So I want to take a look at it. And there's going to be some stuff in this clip, Mashawn. I'm going to let you see it. Hold on.
Okay.
Color Purple is hot. The movie is selling lots of tickets. It got the most Oscar nominations. Even the book by Alice Walker is a bestseller again.
Wow. All of us are like, oh. You almost don't want it to stop. Let's watch it again.
The Color Purple is one of those movies people seem to be talking about everywhere.
Okay, everybody. So I'm here with the women of The Color Purple, and we're getting ready to shoot a cover for Essence Magazine. Hey.
And as Harold Dow reports, it's a movie that some people are getting upset about.
We got a lot of shit from people. We got a lot of shit from a lot of folks at the NAACP.
The Color Purple was picketed by black men and women when it opened in Los Angeles.
Then, and how dare she write this book about black men, and who does she think she... I mean, it was like a whole thing. Nothing but black people in the movie. No, there's maybe 3 white people.
And there have been informal boycotts in other cities as well.
I was really pissed off. I thought, well, why didn't you make the movie? John.
Okay, Michelle. She goes. She was pissed off, and Whoopi. By the way, I love me some Whoopi Goldberg. I love Whoopi Goldberg. The attitude. Why didn't you make the movie? I don't think any black man would make that movie.
So I don't know who she was referencing when she said that, but I have to be honest, I didn't know it was all that outrage, because obviously that was older. I see where they put in the actresses from the new, but I didn't realize all that was going on. I was in high school, so I was not paying attention to any of that, but I can understand where they came from with it. Excuse me. It was a mess for everyone. So I'm not a man, I'm not a male, so I can't, understand. Maybe I can understand, but I can see where you all may go back and say, now what the hell is this? Especially given how y'all feel about Oprah as well. I never hated her like that either.
I don't
But
know.
only women.
I don't know if I don't know. Maybe when some of the other guys come up, I never hated Oprah. I just never saw her as a friend of black men. So she wasn't somebody that I like hated. You know what I mean? I just never thought that she was. Black men were on the forefront of her thought process with anything that she did. And so that's kind of how I looked at. I don't know about the other brothers. I don't know if black men actually hated Oprah. They made, now that we have the body of work and the history to actually go and look at what she's done over the course of her career. You know what I mean? And the things that she's promoted and what she's promoted. And I have a clip I'm gonna play later on with Sean of her describing the new movie. And the way she describes the new movie, it kind of feels like she's trying to rewrite history a little bit about the purpose or who the movie's for.
But shouldn't some of the disdain be for Alice Walker as well? It's her book, honestly, at the end of the day.
It is her book. And in this clip that we're watching, they actually have Alice Walker in there, and she makes some pretty interesting revelations about her work. Okay.
Okay.
Let me. What did I do with it? Did I get rid of it? No. you know how that go.
I do. There's a lot going on back here.
All right. Let's see.
Spike.
We're concerned with how the black family is depicted in this film.
They promoted a world where all black men were oppressive and abusive and were inherently rapists, excuse me. And black women just had to navigate this world as innocent little ducklings.
Not since Alex Haley's Roots has a story about black people generated such universal interest. And because of the way the movie depicts black men.
I found that interesting that they compared this to Roots, because I never looked at The Color Purple in the same vein as I did Roots. Roots, I looked at as a autobiographical journey, you know what I mean, over centuries, and more of a historical piece. I didn't see Color Purple that way, so that was kind of weird that they made that.
Was there an issue when Roots came out? Maybe I was very young for that too.
I don't think there was a controversy. Well, the only thing I remember about Roots, or if you want to call it controversy, is that the makers of it did not know or didn't. They were concerned about how the country was going to take it. Was going to take the film itself. Especially it being aired over the course of a week in prime time in this country. And little did they find out, damn near every television set in the country was tuned in to Roots. I don't think any other series have garnered that level of viewership since, with the story of Roots. So I didn't really get why they would, compare this one to Roots. I really didn't understand that at all.
And it has become the focus of a growing controversy.
When you look at historical processes of genocide, low-level conflict, or even racial conflicts throughout the world, throughout the 19th and 20th century, what you find are caricatures of racialized men.
Sealy, give me some lemonade.
You see this in the Holocaust with Nazis propaganda. It was Jewish men who were thought to be devils and animals and beasts. You find very few, hardly any references to women or have women depicted in that way.
It's a story about incest, rape, homosexuality, and the physical and psychological abuse of black women by black men.
You see the same thing during 19th century ethnology, because ethnology was a study of the organization and hierarchy of races based on the status of their men. You see all kinds of caricatures and writings about black men as demons, animals, beasts, snakes, etc.
No need to think I'm gonna let my boy marry you just cause you in the family way. Ain't cold enough.
As a representation of the lowly nature and the evilness that the black race held. So given that, black men...
Is it the black race or the black man? I don't know.
I personally think it was a mess for everyone, but I can see the points that have been made about specifically the men, because they were a mess in this daggone movie. A hotmess.com, pass down. One hot mess to the next hot mess, worse, and worse.
Yeah, I was trying to find a male character in that movie that wasn't a mess, but I did find
the
one.
kids, the babies running around,
Well,
and they were paying the ass too.
Well, them, but Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, the musicians. That's about it.
The damn musician. You know, he all he did was play a guitar and ran out the way when Sophia wanted to knock that girl out.
Yeah.
That was the positive man in the movie. Okay.
Men then epitomize in our modern day this process of racial characterization that legitimated violence, genocidal violence at sometimes, and really do mark the process of dehumanization.
Color Purple is sold out. The next show is 9:15.
The movie, The Color Purple, is one of the biggest box office hits of the year.
Which then got us nominated. We got us nominated for 12 Oscars. 12 Oscar nominations.
The Color Purple is not an attack upon black men. It is a challenge to the entire black nation.
Do you agree with that, Messi Mashawn?
A challenge to the entire black nation. I might need him to elaborate on that, because what was the daggone challenge, child? But I agree that it was everybody. It was all in. It's not just men. It's a mess all as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So I guess go ahead.
The movie, to me, represents a triumph of black women. So
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, I don't see them thinking that it's a mess for black women, but more so of a heroic story. You know what I mean? It's how black women are always overcoming, strong, resilient, enduring, and that's what it seemed to me. Especially when you look at some of the advertisements around it and how Oprah and the cast talked about it. I don't know.
It was heroic for Celie, obviously, but I mean, I guess Sophia, but hell, after everything she went through, they all were a mess, child. I don't know. It's a mess for everyone, in my opinion. I'm sorry. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I remember my grandmother talking about this a little bit, and she often talked about how real the story was. And that struck a chord with me, that this is a real story. This happens. This is a real story.
I don't doubt that it happened then. Would it start 1901 something? 1901?
The movie started in 19, was it 1909?
1909, okay.
Was where the period time of the story that took place.
Right. And then it passed through the years, but I can see those things happening back then. Like we didn't have, meaning women, as many choices and options back then as we do now. So you had to be dependent on the man, which is the reason why women are saying we need this, we need that, and we want to be equal and all that type stuff. That probably is the reason why, because of stuff like that. What could Celie do? Really, what could Celie do?
She was 14.
That makes it even worse. What could she do? Her father wasn't ish, ended up not being her father, but still he wasn't ish. That she didn't know that at the time.
Right.
And then Mr. is a jackass.
Yes.
He's a jackass even, honestly. Well, I guess he's allegedly nice to Suge Avery. But honestly, you bringing a mistress into the house and she okay with it. So that's where I was finally clicked on with oh yeah, she's a hoe. You coming into this house and then you talking about what you do with him. When they was talking about Celie's like, he do his business, and she was like, oh, I love being with Robert. What is his name? Mr.
Albert.
Albert, yeah. I'm like, girl, ew, what? And it's like, oh my God, realization just recently. I'm like, this is a mess. This is a mess. But she went along with it, meaning Suge. So she wasn't ish either, honestly.
Yeah, that's why I say at the beginning, Suge's the real villain.
In Alice Walker's head, it's 1909, and her ancestors are fighting to recover their...
You'll notice what he said. He said, in Alice Walker's head, it's 1909.
I was going to say, she wasn't there.
She was, okay, hold that thought.
dignity from centuries of slavery, poverty, and abuse.
Critics of the movie say scenes like this reinforce negative stereotypes about blacks. Here, Mr. brings his mistress home to be cared for by his wife.
But seeing it on the screen was a whole different level of it. Given the veneer of historical accuracy, given the veneer of this legacy of oppressive black men.
A lot of the things in The Color Purple happened to people in my family long before I was born.
The core idea.
Did you hear what she said?
Yes, I believe her. I ain't saying I like her, but I believe her.
She said it happened in her family.
Yeah.
In her family long before she was born.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe her. That she passing down stories. You got your stories from your grandmama. Got my stories from my grandmama.
And you know what? As I've gotten older, you know how many of those stories that I've learned to not be necessarily accurate?
All of them?
Just about.
My stories are accurate. You know what I'm saying? So it's our environment, I guess. You know what I'm saying? My grandmothers didn't lie to me. And if they did, I just guess I never found out.
Yeah. I found out. Oh, the only reason why is because I started finding out stuff after my grandmother's husband passed away. My grandmother, because she's now in her 80s, she started self-snitching. You know, forgetting what she actually told us originally. You know what I mean? About stuff coming out. And I'm like, whoa, that's not. And it also kind of changes the perspective, because if you talk to my grandmother, my grandfather is Albert. If you talk to her prior. But now that some other information that she volunteered came out, it puts my grandfather, now that he's gone, it puts him in a different light. And my grandfather used to say on a regular basis, he would never, no, my grandfather was a brute. Let me be clear. He was a brute.
Okay.
He was a brute. But the last, I would say 8 years of his life, I was the only family member that was going to visit him. He was living in Mississippi. So I was the only one. I was going down twice a year to check on him and stuff like that. And he would start to say stuff like, I don't know why your grandma keep lying to y'all. That's all he would say. Henrietta need to come tell it. She need to tell the truth. She need to tell the truth. And I just dismissed it as him not being accountable, him trying to deflect, because he demands not, he's not been a good man all these years. But after he passed, some information came out about him came out about their situation that changed the story. And I'll share this. One of the things that came out was that my grandmother was not his first family.
Okay.
That she was married and she started messing with a married man. Yeah. That changes things a little bit.
So, and I don't want to belabor this because I don't know how long you want the segment to last, but so are you saying that they should have had more of what the women did wrong in the movie is what you're saying?
No. What I'm saying is, when it comes to Alice Walker and her telling this story and her getting information that is passed down, and the way that Black women gravitated and held on to this film as an example of what they go through, I'm saying that the information that she may have been received, they might have been stuff missing out of the story.
I don't disagree, but do you really think they needed The Color Purple to hang on to negativity about men, Black men in particular?
No, but
okay.
it gives a tangible resource for them to hold on to. I don't know how many times I've seen Black men being compared to Albert, to Mr. as a reference point. You understand?
So I hear you. I have to, I guess I got to equate it to the differences in people's lives, because I actually asked my husband, do you feel some kind of way about The Color Purple? He said, no. He raised by a single mother. And I'm like, okay, so this is what men that I, talk to online say. He's like, yeah, no, I see all that. So it probably is kind of, I'm more so about, you know, how people have grown up and stuff like that. Because again, I never thought about that until I came onto YouTube to see it from y'all's perspective, to be perfectly honest with you, because I just think it's all a mess.
Yeah, absolutely. She's going to say something. We'll just play it.
Around the color purple.
My grandmother was murdered by a man who wanted to be her lover. It really influenced my imagination.
Did you hear what she said?
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that.
She said it influenced, for those who did not hear it, the lady who wrote the book that the movie is based on said that the stories influenced her imagination.
She wants to trauma bond, clearly.
Yes.
There's nothing in The Color Purple that I ever was like, oh, I'm going to take it for the rest of my life, or any other of these movies. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of, that's kind of weird to me.
But look at how Black women gravitate towards Tyler Perry movies, and how they quote them and bring throw that stuff in their face. I could do bad all by myself. All that crap came out of stories that did not depict the men in their lives as anything other than, like my grandfather, brute and a tyrant, like Miss. And her story is completely written from her imagination, the influencing of her imagination.
It's crazy what some of us will gravitate to.
Yes. Let's see what else she has to say. We're almost done with this.
Okay.
To put forth this notion that Black women went through a special slavery after slavery, that Black men ran, controlled, and exploited them for their own advancement. This is the core idea of The Color Purple.
It's not autobiographical in the sense that.
Did you hear what she said? It's not autobiographical, but
she just said it was based on the experiences told to her.
Based on experiences told to her, and she let her imagination go wrong. Yeah. And now she says it's not autobiographical, but yet that's not the narrative pushed about the book. I mean, about the movie. Unless I'm missing something.
No, that's what she said. You're right.
That's not what's being. It wasn't touted as, oh, this is a complete work of fiction and this is just for entertainment purposes only. No, they're sitting out there saying, the cast, Oprah, Steven Spielberg, everybody, this is a story of triumph based on the life of Alice Walker. That's how they promoted this crap. And herself, out of her own mouth, said that this is based on her imagination.
I knew hardly anybody. I listened to people tell stories about the family.
Hold on.
Anybody. I listened to people tell stories.
She said she hardly knew anybody. And she just, that went through that, she just listened around to people tell stories.
She trying to get the bag.
That's it.
Stories about the family.
It's a special slavery for Black women.
She's trying to get the bag. She's trying to get the bag. And Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, his analysis, this is a special kind of slavery for Black women. So the lady that wrote the book herself didn't witness it. They were stories passed on. It was not autobiographical in any means. That's what she said. And it stimulated her imagination of stories. So this cultural phenomenon is a complete work of fiction that our women in general latched onto as some kind of shield or moniker or reference point to illustrate what they go through with Black men.
I know. I believe what you're saying. I just think it's half damn crazy. It's still, to me, taking on somebody else's trauma. I just look at it like it's a movie. It was horrible all the way around as a whole. So do we want to move forward, or do we want to, not you, I'm just saying, if as they're looking at this, so what you want to take on someone else's trauma from 1909, I think you said, up into 2023, going to 24, just so that you can be combative and difficult. That's what you want to do?
Yes. Hold that thought.
Here we go. Money talk.
All right, let's get to some of these super chats real quick. Andre and Andre Love Crossing Borders. Did I get that right? I don't know what denomination this is, but we go support Black Male Media, subscribe.
Colombian pesos.
Is that what that is?
It is.
40,000 40,000 Colombian pesos.
Mm-hmm.
Support Black Male Media, subscribe, click like, give us super chat. Yeah, please do. Please do. All right. Culture Invasion Podcast. Thank you for joining us with the $5 super chat. Let's go. Let's get it. Oh, she from your channel tonight, sis.
Oh, shout out to Culture Invasion. CIP, appreciate you, hon. Let's go get messy tonight, sis. You know I will. Shout out to you, sweetheart. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Miss Felicia H with the $2. Thank you. I don't have my drop because I'm in a different profile for them last $2. So thank you, Felicia, for the $2. Was that a super sticker? I believe it's a super sticker.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Desert Storm.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Can I just thank International Quiet Storm? You sent me a cash app. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, hon. Always supporting me.
Yeah. Oh, Quiet Storm. Cool. All right. $5. Desert Storm. DJ Hemp is on the RBN panel. So here we go. Let's go. RBN is real most days. Day one on this might be risky. That's what TMBR. Hemp probably back there like, you ain't reading them super chats right. You ain't reading them super chats right. That's all right. All right, great.
I'm sorry. Real quick. Shout out to Nawa. He sent me a super chat too. He said, "Hey, Miss Sean and Besties, appreciate you, hon."
I know why. Oh, he followed you over here. Was he on time? Was he on time?
He was not on time, but that's okay. Always here though. Always supporting me. Nawa.
Yeah. So Gregory Scotland with the $10 with the double nickel. Salute to Champs tonight. Also, shout out to the Passport Bros. Go ahead, say that, Michelle. SYBS.
That one says SYSBM, but it's always SYCBM, gentlemen. SYCBM.
Red Pill and Manosphere stand up. All right. Okay, he's back again with the double nickel. TJ, I didn't hear about the controversy, but I know you know how to break stuff down and it makes it make sense. Waiting for your wisdom. I don't know how much goddamn wisdom I got tonight. The only thing I know tonight is Sugar Gary's a hoe. That's all I know. Shout out to Dwight Palmer with the $5. Tyler Perry, billionaire, for making The Color Purple 2 4 times a year. What was it? 4 times a year for years. Yeah, I see what he's saying. He's basically saying Tyler Perry keeps remaking The Color Purple over and over and over again and become a billionaire off of that. Is that what am I interpreting it right?
That's not Tyler Perry's movie though. Where is it?
I know, but I think he's taking a shot at Tyler Perry and calling his movies nothing but Color Purple remakes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's how I'm taking it. Gregory Scott back again with the $5. Shout out to the PhDs and the intellectuals in the Black manosphere, Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, Dr. Neil Green, Gorilla, who is that? Dr. Neil, I don't know, Dr. Thunder, Kosher, and BGS.
Oh, those are all content creators.
Yeah, okay. Who's BGS?
BGS Ibmore. I don't know what that stands for, but he's on here.
Okay, all right. With the $2, hey Michonne, hey besties. Oh, that's Nawa.
Nawa, yes.
And Mark Cooper, like the topic. Y'all go ahead.
He says, shout out to Mark Cooper. Thank you, hon. He said, like the topic, you tell him, Messy Michonne. Appreciate you, hon.
Yeah. All right, Elizabeth, for Michonne, RBM and Auburn Eyes, $30. That's what's up.
That's my snow bunny. One of my resident snow bunnies.
It show is. I recognize her. It show is. And with the 99-cent super chat with super sticker is Wayne in the building. And let's not forget, y'all, Suge's the real villain here because she's a hoe.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
Is a hoe.
A hoe. Yeah, so here's my thing. Here's my question. So why are they updating this film? Why are they updating it?
Money.
You think it's just pure about money?
Yeah. Why are we not making anything new? It's a remake. Nobody has to do anything for the most part. They got the Fantasia and the people we know, Taraji and all those people in it, and we know the story already. And it's opening on Christmas Day. It's going to be a big moneymaker.
It's going to be a huge moneymaker. I know people say that they're not going to see it. I don't see. I think the original film, let's be honest, was a good film. We're not going to sit there and pretend like it's not a good film because we don't like the narrative in it. It was a great film. Good work done in the film.
Right.
Who knew that Whoopi could act her ass off like that? Because she, you saw different layers and levels of Whoopi. You saw her, evolve over the years. In that film. Absolutely. Let me see. So that's interesting. So what I want to do is spend a little bit of time actually breaking down the actual film itself. I'm going to bring up Kofa Michon, and he's going to talk about Mr.
Good luck.
We're going to sit there and talk about Mr. Kosher, where you at, man? Let me see. Here we go. All right, Michon, I will get back to you in just a moment. Kosher, how you doing?
I'm doing great, sir. How about yourself?
I'm good. So you're gonna lead us off into the actual breakdown of The Color Purple itself.
Yes, sir. It's so many layers to this movie, Real Bravado. And I got some clips that I actually allow pull up so you can let the audience see it. But what it looks like to me, man, is this ongoing nebulous cycle of vicarious trauma. And I said in the post that there is power in victimization. Some people use victimization. They get what's called a dualistic effect. They get victimization on one end, but also they get attention. So it's a dualism. They use trauma to put their attention on them. And what they do, they overgeneralize the populace of black men. In the clinical world, there's something we call antecedents, behaviors, and consequences. Antecedents is what happened before something is manifest. The behavior is the byproduct of it, and the consequences can be good or bad. The fact that these people are actually dealing with vicarious trauma, meaning I'm listening to the stories of my grandmother, I'm hearing their pain, I'm comparing that to all the struggles I went through with the men that I dealt with. What it does, it can cast black men in a negative light. And what it does, it keeps them in a perpetual cycle of taking minute evidence and either generalizing or overgeneralizing all black men based on the limited information that they heard. So it's power in victimization, but also it's power in getting attention. Because if you think about it, Real Bravado, most women physically can't beat the average man. There are some that can, but on average, the average woman can't beat the average man. So that gives them attention. There's a clinical word called factious disorder or Munchausen by proxy. And while I'm not saying that people don't go through trauma, factious disorder simply means that a person will fake that they've been hurt to give attention or to garner attention. And so it's a condition that you tend to see in women a lot. But the sad fact is we continue to have these negative stereotypes about black men, which in essence perpetuate the cycle that we are violent, we don't take care of our kids, and that we're going to hurt women. No different than what the KKK did about black men being aggressive and violent.
Right. I have a question for you. So when's the last time you seen the movie?
I saw it years ago, man. I haven't seen it since then. I saw it, but I didn't really get the gist. Only thing I saw is Mr. being a bad guy, Mr. being somebody that was mean to Celie and Oprah. But you know what? I'm glad you asked me that question. Thank you for asking that question, Real Bravado. But when you said something that was very profound a couple of minutes ago, and you were talking about the many things that actually happens to the point where we hear the story of what grandmom said about grandfather. But let's say if grandfather was everything that grandmom said, people never take in consideration that the man that was violent, the man that was alcoholic, the man that was abusive, the man that slept with multiple women, they don't take in consideration that sometimes those men didn't have healthy coping skills to deal with the traumas that they went through. in dealing with trauma or whatever, some people use the church. Black folks use the church by and large back in the past, but every person didn't have adequate social skills to deal with their pain. So the black man that was having babies out of wedlock, the black man that came home and became an alcoholic and hit his woman, did we ever take into consideration, Real Bravado Network, that perhaps granddaddy was dealing with the impact of being called the boy? Did we ever take into consideration that grandfather was dealing with the impact of not being able to get gainful employment? Did we ever take into consideration that granddaddy saw his mama being beat, or his daddy being beat, or his grandparents being hung, or them hearing the story, and therefore he transmitted that trauma to the woman that he's dealing with? But we never take in consideration that, men are human too. We always see men as either, what we call black and white thinking, good or bad. We don't look at the gray. And because of that, what it does, it keeps these negative images, these negative stereotypes perpetuating without looking at things through a clinical lens. Because there's healthy coping, like working out, sublimation, when you take something bad and turn it into something good. But then there's also negative coping, sex, eating, drinking, verbal and physical abuse. So we don't take in how Jim Crow racism played a role on the psyche of men. We just paint black men with a broad stroke. We don't have or add any humanity or dignity to their suffering and their pain. But when it comes down to the stories that grandmom said, every black man was bad. Every black man wanted to keep them barefoot and pregnant. Every black man drunk. Every black man had children out of wedlock. But they don't talk about the children that grandmom had. They don't talk about the women when grandfather was overseas fighting for the country. She had babies by other men. They don't talk about that.
Here's one thing I want to point out too, Kosher. Because I know you got a lot to get to. Here's one thing I want to point out, and I'm not trying to overly humanize Mister, but here's something that dawned on me while I was watching the movie. If you transplant Mister today, Mister was a middle class man. He owned a farm. He owned land. He was a farmer, and back then he had I think I counted 4 horses. He had cows. He had a wide range of cattle, and he had enough property where his son Harpo was able to build his own house on his property.
Right.
So we don't even look at the fact that whatever Mr. did, we don't understand that Mr. was a man that could provide for a home and a family because he had an income from his farming, from his selling his crops. He had plenty of land. We translate that today. This man is a middle or upper middle class earner.
Right.
And we don't get that sense in The Color Purple that in that time frame, Mr. was a guy who was a guy of means. And right. you get a small hint of that at the end of the movie when, I'm going to play the clip, but at the end of the movie, when Celie jumps up and is going, finally standing up to him, and he starts hollering about, you ain't going to take none of my money. That was the first inkling that Mr. had anything, even though we're watching, him and Celie tend to this property.
Right.
And that goes into the narrative that, black men don't have nothing.
Right.
We ain't got nothing.
Right. And what it did, man, it's almost like this negative diatribe where they use every aspect, because when you listen to, I was listening to what you were saying, and you did a good job with the clips about Alice Walker. So when Tyler Perry was dealing with the trauma of being abused as a child, what Tyler Perry did, he created movies. And so it's no different than what Alice Walker did to some degree. People create movies based on their trauma, and they use their imagination. In the clinical world, it's called sublimation. It means to take something good or negative impulses and then turn it into something positive. That's called healthy ego defense mechanism. It's mature. But a lot of times, everybody don't know how to take that negative and flip it. I got a clip I want to show you, Real Bravado, real quick. What's up, Black Man on Filter? What's up, brother? And I got a clip I want to show you real quick. You want me to pull it up, TJ?
Yeah. Can you load it in there?
Yes, sir. Give me 1 minute. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
Black Man Unfiltered, what you think what Kosher talking about?
Man, listen, Kosher, it's hard to come behind Kosher because Kosher gets that roux and that gumbo. and he stirs it real thick and good, and so it's hard to come behind him to add anything else because the gumbo has already been prepared. However, he is correct. I think that they didn't show a lot about Mr. because Mr. was a hardworking man. He was taught by his father to be a hardworking man. He was a hardworking man who had some issues. And the movie depicted him as the devil and the demon. And just going to the root of this thing, I think that this woman, Alice, you could just look at her and tell that she's a bowl of unsweetened tea that just poured this all over the world and created in her mind, as you broke it down, sir, so eloquently. She broke it down in her mind and made up this whole thing. And I put in the back chat when I was talking to the guest in the back that she took Barney's imagination tools literally because she used that imagination like I've never seen before in my life.
Right.
And she wanted to make all the men in the world look like how she viewed men through the eyes of people that say they experienced it and she never did. So that's my thoughts on it.
Hey, black man, I put the link in, man. I don't know if you can see. I might have to send it to your email, but I did go and get the clip. Can you see it?
Oh, hold on. Let me see. No, I can't see it.
So what
background?
What do you think about? Hold on, Kosher. What do you think about Mr. being them not really highlighting the fact that Mr. was a productive man?
A productive man.
Well, I mean, for me, it was expected. We really, honestly, with Mr., we really didn't get a lot other than he was abusive. Like, we didn't get any background on him. Like, we don't know what happened with him and his daddy. We don't know what happened with him and his mama. Like, we never heard anything about her. We never heard, I mean, just a little bit about the wife. Like, it was just, the only thing we got about Mr. was he was mad that he couldn't have Suge. Then he was mad he couldn't have Nettie, so he took it out on Celia. That is literally all we got out of Mr.
But when you're looking at the scenery and where they're at, that you can see if you're paying attention that Mr.
I mean, he was definitely a productive member of society. I mean, Mr. He looked like, I mean, if we had seen Mr. out, in the town amongst the people, he looked like he was getting plenty of respect.
Right.
And then he had plenty of horses, which equates to having multiple vehicles. You know what I mean? Right. Every time he left, or with the town, he was in a suit with a brim like Kosher. He was always, So the imagery, even though they don't, and I find that really remarkable that they spent so much time, looking at one aspect of this man, but they're not looking at the other. The fact that there's a place for it. Now, I'm not making excuses for Mr. But I'm just talking about what I noticed as I'm watching back now, and I'm looking at this farm, this big, vast amount of land that he gets to farm, and he gets to make money.
House.
And then the size of the home, and then the home is huge, and then enough land for Harpo to build his home. And that damn Harpo's juke joint was off the
juke joint, yeah.
Which was on Mr.'s land.
It was.
So all of that, I'm not saying that all of that makes him a better man, you know what I mean? But that also leads into the subconscious that men don't have nothing. They showed how raggedy and unkept his house was, you know what I mean? Without a woman, and he couldn't do nothing without a woman, When he was running around trying to go meet up Celie, he was pictured as like a feckless man, didn't know his cufflinks, his socks. He didn't know what sport jacket to wear.
Yeah.
All of that plays a part in the imagery of black men.
But don't we do that now? Like, not look at the big picture and just hone in on the one piece that, to try to make your point.
Yeah.
Like, even though he was providing and, was taking care of everything and nobody wanted for anything. And, Celie, had a roof overhead, plenty of food to eat, just that. Forget all of that. Just, he abusing her. That's all we need to talk about. That part you need to see. Forget about the rest. We still do that today.
Okay, I'm going to say this, and I want to get to Take Heed. We're going to get to Culture's clip.
I sent it to you.
No, it's here in the back. I can see it.
Oh, you can see it?
Yeah. Okay. I'll pull it up in a second. Okay. Take heed. I lost my train of thought. God dog it. See what you
You was
did.
talking about how unappreciated the black man was,
Man.
hardworking black man was in the movie.
Right. Did you see that Take Heed in with Mr.?
Well, they had to make Mr. look evil now. They couldn't make him look nice. They had to make him look evil. So they had to make him seem like he was this man that was unkept, that even though he had this big house, the horses, the land, everything, they still had to make him seem like he was a Pookie and Rere, okay, of that time. They couldn't make it seem like he was this well-kept man, that he was amazing when he came to get silly and all this, because if they would have done that, the story would have went left.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to make him be the villain, okay? That's what they do. It's easy for them to make the black man a villain. Just like we call that Brickgate. When Brickgate happened, it was so easy for all the black women to jump on board and say all black men are evil. And they had to do that. That's just my take on it.
Okay. Here we go, culture.
At hand is the controversial statement that the color purple hates black men. To fully understand and explain this statement, it is important to provide context. The Color Purple is a novel written by Alice Walker in 1982, which was later adapted into a critically acclaimed film in 1985. The story revolves around African American women living in the rural South during the early 20th century, exploring themes of race, gender, and power dynamics. The statement that the color purple hates black men seems to stem from the perspective that some readers or viewers feel the book and film primarily focus on the mistreatment and abuse inflicted upon women by black men. While it is true that the novel and film address issues of domestic violence and male oppression, it is essential to note that the narrative also emphasizes the strength, resilience, and sisterhood of the female characters. Instead of promoting hatred towards black men, The Color Purple serves as an exploration of complex relationships between men and women within a particular historical and cultural backdrop. It highlights the struggles and challenges faced by African American women during a time of systemic racism and gender inequality. It is worth mentioning that literature and film can provoke diverse interpretations and emotional responses from different individuals. While some may interpret the story as being critical of black men, others find value in the book's exploration of intersectionality and the experiences of African.
Right. So it's always coming from a liberal construct. It's always coming from a feminist perspective. You see on the end, they got a gay black man. They're talking about intersectionality. Intersectionality talks about the intersection of trauma and pain and all the things the women went through. But once again, they never look at the intersection of how Jim Crowism and every.
Oh.
Ain't nothing but the devil. They knew he was cooking. They knew he was cooking. Somebody said, pull that nigga internet. Yeah.
YouTube ain't shit. Hold on.
Ain't shit.
Hold on a second. I got a question for you. Hold on.
Here we go. Money talk.
Boy, that hoe was singing, boy.
Was she though? Was she though?
Was singing.
What you say? Sinners got soul too.
Hey, that hoe was singing. Go ahead.
Can you go ahead with the chat real quick?
Say again.
Can you go ahead and read the super chat for me?
Yes, sir. Shatara Jolie with the $2. It says, "It's really cool to see you in here. Wait. Cool to see you and hear you. Oh shit. Michonne, you don't be on camera? Oh, that's what it is. I don't have contact. My fault. It's really cool to see you and hear you, Michonne. Shout out to Michonne.
Yep. All right.
Coop was popping with the 20 ball. He said, "Oh, what's it? It's a stupid sticker, shit like that, man.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that."
The International Quiet Storm with the $2 says BGS equals Black Gnostic Speaks. All right.
Oh, okay.
Martell Lamar with the $5 says Michonne has a face.
Wow.
There's a storm with the $5. Wow, that was an interesting point that BM saw their people abused and could do nothing with his strength he knew he had. What torment. Damn. My sexy is strong with the $5. What's popping? Stopping by to show love. That's real.
That's what's up. Ham, as a man who is as a business owner.
Yes, sir.
So do you think your story can be told without telling the fact that you're a business owner?
I think it would be exceptionally difficult. I think if, like you said, I think the film is well presented, right? So, like, for instance, there's a movie called No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
It's a great film, right? But you have to be in the movies to watch it. It has no score. People don't even realize that unless somebody tells you. There's no music at all, right? So if you're watching the movie, it's, you know, really watching it, you can see how successful Mr. is, right? But you have to be into it, though, right? So if you're a movie connoisseur, you could pick it up. But I think for the novice, just watching, just for entertainment, they'll miss it.
Yeah, it took me about halfway through the movie to really realize that Mr. was actually a successful man in that time frame. So this is like in the early 1900s, 1910, 1915, 1920. Wealth was measured in property, in cattle, and horses, and children, and the volume of children that you had. So he was rivaling, and this was in rural Georgia that this took place in. So he was rivaling his white male counterparts at the time. He had what they had to a degree.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, I find it, I don't want to harp on it because we got to get back to culture. I don't want to harp on that too much, but I find it fascinating that this piece of his story, which if you're not paying attention, you don't realize is there. You know, and I understand why they're doing it for the storytelling purposes, but I believe you can still tell the story and that too. You know, you could give him a sliver of humanity. I mean, I guess you could say at the end of the story when he went and paid the immigration, that was a humanity. To me, that was just him trying to get into heaven at that point. But I'm just saying, you can get, there's humanity in any character. And to your point, we saw his father. We saw his father and how kind of, warped his mind was. And and when I talk to my grandfather, he's 80-something years old now. My grandfather don't talk like that. He don't talk like Mr. He don't talk like Mrs. Father. And my grandfather was born in the early 40s. So, that's almost kind of like that time period or whatever. So I don't know. Kosher?
Yeah. So I was talking about intersectionality. I don't know. Maybe the robots kicked me out. They don't want that file.
Man.
They don't want the file for their mind. You know how that goes, man. But I got another clip. Black man. I mean, I be confusing you and Black Man Unfiltered. It's the same. Y'all remind me of each other.
Because we both big brothers.
Two big black niggas. Just Black Man Unfiltered.
But so there's another. So this is an interplay of a lot of different things. It's always painting a negative picture of black men. Some we talked about earlier. It definitely have a liberal underpinning. And like you were saying, it gives no credence to the humanity of black men. It gives no credence to the struggles of black men. It doesn't have any type of conciliatory nature when it comes down to the struggle of black men and the things that they went through. Once again, we never considered that great-great-granddaddy, the one that was drinking, the one that was an alcoholic, we don't consider that he was going through trauma too. We don't consider that he was living through the vicarious trauma of his predecessors, no different than the woman was living through the vicarious trauma of her mothers and her grandmother. So we never have a place of empathy when it comes down to the struggles of men. And that's not trying to say that men that abused women back then was justified. But what they don't understand, this negative mischaracterization of black men, it's endemic to all ethnic groups. What happened in some of those homes in the South was endemic to what white men were doing, the Indians or whoever. It's not a black man issue. It's a human issue. But just like there were black women using or more or less minimizing their stories and try to paint black men, like you were talking about your grandfather, as villains, that happened as well. Black men that fought for this country valiantly while they were overseas, some of their women, not all, but some of those women were sleeping with other men and having babies, but we didn't have paternity testing back then. But there's nothing new under the sun. But when it comes down to women, it's always sugar and spice everything nice. We always see the man as the villain. We see the woman as being innocent. You remember the tale back in the day, what the little girls made love, sugar and spice, and everything nice. It's power and victimization. But then what the little boys made love, puppy dog tails and snails. Boys are always seen as negative and bad. And so this continues, this movie continues the perpetuation that boys are bad, men are dangerous, men are violent. And it's dangerous because it's caste typing, and it can destroy the image of black men.
Okay. All right, Kof, I know we got some more. We're gonna circle back to you. We're gonna move on to the next part of this, which is we're gonna stick with the theme of Mr. But one of the other themes that were in the movie that was very, very profound was how oversexed we were. Not in how we preferred, I'm being careful, how we prefer little girls. You know, so Mr., you know, had an affinity for what's her name? Huh? Nettie. And so when Mr. couldn't get Nettie, you know, we saw his other cruelty on display. I'm going to play a short clip, guys. I know the video is blurry. I did it on purpose because we're trying to protect all the channels here. So we're going to play a little bit shortness of that, okay?
Let us stay, please. Let us stay. I'll do anything for you. Let us stay. Get your hell out of my house. Let us stay. No.
You ain't nothing back here. And so that picture here, I'm gonna bring up Kofa because this is Kofa in Black Men Unfiltered. I'm gonna drop everybody else down. You know, this narrative that, you know, black men, you know, we just want to take and conquer everything that when we can't get it, we just take it. And this whole narrative, because Mr. couldn't get Natty to do what he wanted to do, you know, he wanted it to destroy. So how did this line or theme in this movie, how does that affect us today?
It's still the same thought process. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, peace. What's going on, y'all? It's still the same thought process that we just a bunch of horn dogs. Even when we was talking briefly at the beginning, it was like, well, niggas love hoes. The first thing we go through in our culture is men love pussy. That's the first thing. Excuse me for cussing. I know we're trying to keep everybody's channel clean. My apologies. Men love hoes. We just running behind women. If we can't get it, then we gonna take it. This was the first time that we've actually seen it, I guess, on screen back in '85. And it's funny too, because I rewatched it today. Then I looked and saw what year it came out, and it came out today in 1985. December 18th, 1985 is when it came out. So it's funny that we're talking about it again. But it's just this theme that we're oversexed, and he's doing his business on top of Nettie because he couldn't get to what's the other sister name?
Sheila.
No, he was
he was on top of Seeley. He couldn't get to Nettie, but he had Suge Avery picture next to the bed
because Suge.
So, big facts. So then because we're watching Mr. in action, we're seeing it visibly. Black men are tyrants. The one thing we didn't see is Suge Avery's father act like that. So the initial outset of the movie, we get it from Nettie and Seeley's father. It immediately goes to Mr. And then we know, Suge was a hoe, like you said.
What did you say she was?
A hoe.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
So it's just this constant idea, and it's carried over to today. Y'all only want IG models. Y'all only want these internet baddies and so on and so forth. Most of these chicks, like we were talking about with the men, most people are average. RIP to Kevin Samuels. The brother has said it several times. Most people, y'all hear what? Let me take the toothpick out so y'all hear me clear. Most people, that includes men and women. Ladies, you don't get a pass. Brothers, you don't get a pass. Most people are average, but we keep drilling everything back down to sex in our community. I mean, it's layers and on top of layers on top of layers. Those are three women that this one man is supposed to represent. He's lustful. He's sexually abusive because he just pumping and sweating, but he can't get the Nettie and he can't get the Suge. So I'm gonna just take what I can get. And then when Nettie does come around, then then they make him a little boy. He's low key flirting with Nettie. I don't know if y'all remember that scene when she's going to school.
He on the
slide
horse.
Slide in black women's education again. He's playing with her on the horse, hiding behind the trees. Then he lets the horse go off by itself, and then he hops out the bushes. That's mighty white of you. Ain't that what white folks did?
Yep.
These Negroes hop out the bushes and just take white women. So he does that. Nettie kicks him in the ball. She's fighting him off. I gotta go to school. I gotta go to school. I gotta go to school. Fast forward nowadays. What are we hearing from sisters? I gotta go to school. I can't marry you. I'm not gonna date you. I gotta focus on school. I gotta focus on my job. I gotta focus on my business. I'm a boss. I got other business than being with a man. Now, point taken that he was trying to grape her. But again, they encompass everything negative in a black man in this one man in this movie. And they kept regurgitating it because even though Celie was the protagonist, that was her husband. So we're going to constantly see him. And every time we saw him, it was something negative. He was either a buffoon, a little boy, or an abuser.
Let me ask a question, and I'm just throwing it out there, Black Man and DJ Ham. So does this play into the narrative that the only thing that black men need to be happy from their women is just some coochie? That's all we need?
Well,
you go ahead, Ham. Go ahead.
No, it might be short. I mean, we perpetuate the stereotype of sex, silence, and sandwich, right? We've been resounding with that message. So if we saying that, why would they not be inclined to believe it? Go ahead, Black Man.
Yeah, I think that the narrative is. I piggyback on what Ham said. I think that that's what they solely believe. Even going back to this movie, just look at the fact of Nettie and look at Celie. Look at the difference in how pretty Nettie was versus how ugly ugly, and keep it clean, as Celie was. So not only did they say the man wants the best looking woman, but he had to settle for the less attractive young lady, right? Daddy didn't want to let Nettie go because Nettie was the pretty one. Oh no, you can't. She too good for you. But I do got my ugly daughter back here. You can have her.
Damn.
It's a fact.
But you know what's crazy about that?
That's what's going on today, right? That's what's going on. Women are competing with their beauty. One woman and women don't dress up for us. They don't put on this sexy stuff for us. They do it because they're competing with other women.
Yeah. And based on her beauty, she will get siloed into a box forever. She can have all these awesome attributes. But if she is not pretty enough, she will only be I don't want to curse you. She will only be for sex.
Yep.
That's it. No matter how good of qualities men see, because beauty 9 times out of 10 for most men is number one.
And guess what? They call those women shadow chicks. And if you don't know what a shadow chick is, I'll take a few seconds to tell you what that is. A shadow chick is a young woman who men like to have sex with when it's dark outside, when nobody sees it, when nobody sees when the man's going in the house. He'll never take you to meet his mama. You'll never go out to the movies with him. He'll never sit you down at a 5-star restaurant, or he won't sit you down even at Burger King. He only uses you for extracurricular activities.
The 1 a.m.
So you are a shadow chick.
The last call. The one. You say what'd you say, Ham?
It's 3 a.m.
Yes.
1 a.m.
Yes.
Too many people.
3 a.m.
And he get him one and he go. But then when you see him in public, he got that 10 on his side, right? That one that's pretty beautiful, right? Probably not even satisfy him sexually like that. But then when he get done, he like, shit, I'm going back over to the big girl. I'm going back over to the ugly girl house because she got that good everything.
But 3 a.m. try hard.
Oh yeah. Walmart buying a king size Twix and she's standing right in front of you with a bonnet on. To my hey,
and she Uber to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be over there in a minute.
But this character of the Mister, I like you said that they try to put all the bad things about black men into one dude. But this is them. does this help our women oversex us too? I mean, help perpetuate that stereotype that that's all we want, because that's all they serve to us. Because, like, listen, when you start having when you in the get to know you phase, and I hate this question, that question, what do you bring to the table? I fucking hate that goddamn question, But when you're asking that type of question, and she goes, "Well, just me," well, what does that mean? Just you and the coochie, or what does that mean?
Well, most women would tell you, TJ. I bring the coochie to the table. That's it. What else would you? Most women would tell you that. What else do you need?
What else do you need?
Yeah, they'll ask you.
I mean,
take heed to the messages right there. She deal with these women every day.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, take heed. Jump in there.
Mm-hmm.
They do say that, but I tell them that the man is the table. Shout out to Ricky. The man is the table, that you are the woman, so you come to dress the table.
Yeah. You better talk tonight.
Right, they do too much. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
But and just to pivot off of that though, what was wrong with Suge then? She was providing sex to the whole county.
What was going on in Suge house?
And that was the part. I'm gonna give y'all some pushback. One shit wrong with Mr. Daddy. One shit wrong with that man. All he did was sit on the porch and call out, "Boy, why the hell you in love with this hoe?"
No, we don't know that though, Coach. We don't know. We don't know what happened to Mr. Mama.
I'm saying what's presented on. I'm saying what's presented on the screen. All that man said was, "Boy, why are you in love with this hoe? You've been chasing her forever a day." And to TJ's point, with Mr. having all this property, remember what Pop said. You've been chasing her all this time, and you took a lot of my money with it. So how much work did his daddy put in that his buffoon ass son blow away? Mm-hmm. That's something I want to throw out there, because it's crazy that Mr. became the presentation of what a black man is, and Suge everyone what a black woman was or is nowadays. Suge is the IG model, and she didn't get married until the end of the movie. After she did what? She moved her motherfucking ass to Memphis, just like a lot of these hoes when they ass here to Atlanta, because they done came from their little small town, mid-sized city, where they got shit on their name. Then they come to Atlanta.
This where we going
lost in the sauce. So
what happened to her husband though? Because y'all remember in the end when Mr. paid the money to bring Nettie and the kids back, Suge was there, but Grady was gone. Where was Grady?
Yep. I want to hear what Miss Sean got to say, y'all.
I was going to say that Grandpa Mr. I guess I don't know his name. He was a jackass. Yeah, he was a jackass to him when he came over and Silly spit in the water. He was treating him like crap, which was an indication of how how he in essence treat him very bad. He was a hot mess.
Hold on now, let me add a narrative, because Alice, the one that wrote the book, added a narrative. What if he treated him like that? Because they did a very good job casting this movie. Look at Mr. Daddy and look at Mr. Bingo. Maybe that wasn't his son.
Quite possibly.
Maybe he was raising a son when he was off at the war or something. And his wife had another son. He treated that boy like shit because he treated him like shit because he wasn't his. Let me add this little caveat in there. Even Tyler Perry, I don't know if you guys saw his documentary lately. Tyler Perry just said at 50 years old, he got beat as a kid, the man beat his ass, blood out of his body, abusive, and then started beating his mama. But the family says there was two of the girls that were born before Tyler. The daddy wasn't drinking, he wasn't beating the mama, wasn't beating the girls. But when Tyler came, he started beating the mama and beating his ass. And guess what happened? Tyler at 48 years old got a DNA test, and it wasn't his daddy.
Right.
Because he knew.
The mama cheated on his daddy, and that man, and she was a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
And he was out working 80 hours, 90 hours a week, and she was screwing somebody else.
And that's exactly what I said a few minutes ago, vicarious trauma. But we always focus on the vicarious trauma of the woman because it's women trauma sells movies, but they never took the time to understand that how dad coped. He was coping through violence. Every man copes different. Some drink, some run women, some use physical abuse, some will run away. but they never take in consideration how trauma from the past impacted black men. Being called boys, not getting gainful employment, finding out the wife was knocked up by another man. We don't care about the trauma of black men. But it's always black man bad, black man boogeyman, black man hurt black woman, black man can't be trusted, because that's what I heard grandmom said, and that's the vicarious trauma that she transmits to her daughters. And Black Man Unfiltered, not Black Man, TJ, I got another clip talking about thinking errors you can add at some point too. Go ahead, Black Man. Go ahead, brother.
I want to ask Coach a question. How many of these men back in the day, let's just back up back in the day, these women said, told their kids, he abandoned us.
Right.
Your father abandoned us. How many of those men abandoned those families because they knew those children weren't theirs?
That's a good point. Right. We don't take that in consideration, though.
We don't take that in consideration. Those and the men
that doesn't help black women being the victim narrative.
Right.
Basically, we're at the point where whatever story the black woman got to tell you to get to be the victim, that's what you're gonna hear.
Yep.
Right.
It doesn't even matter.
Question though, because initially when TJ led off this segment, he was speaking about the women being adolescent and then the men still pursuing them. I don't know if we addressed that clearly. So how does all of which we talking about address the men's infatuation with little girls? Now, to be fair, the invention of adolescence is 1890, 1920. So that could be a reason. But all of what we're talking about doesn't answer that question, why they had an affinity for little girls.
Well, I can say this.
It was the time frame.
Yeah, it was the time frame because when you grew up in the South, right? My grandmother and grandfather married for 69 years before he passed away. Right. When you grew up in the South back in that day, in the 30s and the 20s, back then, my grandmother would say it to the young ladies now. She said, 14, I could do more in 24 hours than you've done your entire life at 25.
Right.
And so they were back then, they were raised at a very, very young age to be wives, mothers, how to cook, how to clean, how to take care of the children, because they raised their other brothers and little sisters behind them. So they were built to be women at a very, very young age. So that's why those men were coming to get them at that time. Now, it's not feasible to do that now, because you can't do that now because 14-year-old girls not in the mindset. They haven't been taught nothing. They don't have no morals. They don't have no values. They're lazy. They cell phone. They're 14-year-old girls. So back then, those were grown-ass women at 14, 15 years old.
Right.
Black man, question though on that, Black man. Now, what about the promiscuity? So we're saying that these children aren't these men's children, but they also taught that. How did that come into them being taught how to be wise, but somehow they couldn't keep their legs closed to other men?
Right, but you hoeing at the same time.
Exactly, bro. And I definitely want to jump into that. That is an amazing question because this is just me. This is my opinion. Sure. I think that when you get them at that young age, not all of them, I'm a coach, I'm using your words, not all of them, but some. When you get them at that young age, and say, for instance, you had to leave for a time, right? You had to go to World War II, or you had to go to a war or leave and go somewhere for about 6-7 months at a time. That young boy down the street that's running up and down that road, or he ain't there, oh, she gonna give him some. She give him some. But guess what? Back then, when those women gave that thing away, when the man went there, it wasn't heard of, no. It wasn't no dude coming back saying, yeah, I slept with your woman, or no woman saying I slept with your man. It was basically, okay, it happened, move on. If she got pregnant, she was very convincing and letting her husband know it was his kid. You know how many kids are being raised by men who raised them that they weren't their children?
Amen.
That's what it is.
Into their grave, not knowing.
Went to their grave, not knowing. And like Tyler said for years, he went to therapy. Even listen, we looking at Tyler Perry, we're looking at Kirk Franklin's mama. She even still denying it after 2 DNA
She don't tell a lie. With 2 DNA tests.
Excellent point.
2 DNA tests. She said, no, it ain't your daddy.
Excellent
your daddy dead.
Excellent point. Right.
Back to the original question, though, of them. And I'm not sure if I caught the answer. If you guys said it, let me know. Okay. But them painting a picture that even though that yes, back then, younger women, but then how do you account for him wanting Shook?
Exactly. I think the younger
everyone knew.
I don't know because he wanted Shook. I think it had something to do with, and maybe I'm reaching, with like what Culture was just talking about. Say had a black man, felt like he didn't have any power, he wasn't getting any respect, society wasn't looking at him. So I mean, if you're an accomplished man and you have this child, for lack of a better term, you can kind of have that feeling of your value and superiority. And then like, to answer the part about Suge, so you had that going. Well, he was hoping to have that going on with Nettie, but that didn't quite work out. So he had Celie, you know, saying somebody who he was responsible for. You know, he felt like he had, you know, well, he did have power over her. And then so I think that, you know, fed into what he was missing as far as, you know, saying respect and, you know, validation and even on some level love that he didn't get from his daddy and, you know what I'm saying, Harpo and, you know, the rest of the men, because the men in the whole movie.
Suge was the
more like a mother to him.
Predator, no.
Suge said he was weak.
He broke him. No, Suge broke him. That's why he was in love with her, because she was the hoe that swung on his pipe.
Yep.
Yeah,
there you go.
She did say that.
She was his first. That's why he couldn't let her go. Y'all gotta remember that back in the 70s and 80s, when you had those babysitters that was 18 and 17 years old, and they had watched a young teenage boy who was 15 and 16. No shot at Kurt Franklin, mama. Okay? No shot at Kurt Franklin, mama. But when they had watched those boys who was 15 and 16 and they looked it good to them, they took them to the back room, told them, don't tell nobody.
Right.
Don't tell nobody. I'm going to put this on.
I just didn't grow up in the midst of all of this.
You're right. Right. I've had men tell me the same story Takehita is talking about. I've had men come in private therapy telling me how old women took advantage of them. But once again, it goes back to that nebulous notion, sugar and spice, everything nice. And it continues to perpetuate the cycle of victimhood, because once again, it's power in victimhood, because at a subconscious level, the average woman knows she can see the average man. So how do I get my power? Through victimhood, and also by lying and making myself feel like I'm the victim. I'm not saying victimization doesn't happen. It happens to both sexes. But because women tend to be weaker in general, are there women that are stronger than men? Yes. But in general, women are weaker than men. The average woman can see the average man. Are there exceptions to the rules? Yes. But they get power in their victimhood, and they get power in projecting their pain. And that's how they can continue to tell that narrative and tell that story through generations, because they haven't dealt with the vicarious trauma of the men that hurt them, or the pretty guy that had good hair, or he looked good, or you know, he was a thug or a bad boy, and they transmit that pain and trauma to all black men. So, and it's a thinking error.
Let me ask you guys.
Can I tell you something real quick, TJ?
Yeah, let me ask you guys a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me ask you guys a question. Yeah. So today, do we perpetuate that narrative that black men like young girls? Because now, just a little bit of digging in the man, just a slight dig inside the manosphere into this conversation, we're telling guys now, you know, when you're 40, go get your 20-year-old. Is that the same thing?
No.
Explain to me why not. Listen,
because it goes back to that conversation we just had a couple of weeks ago.
A 20-year-old now, let me tell you something. A 20-year-old now ain't a 20-year-old 20 years ago.
You ain't lying.
This is the thing. In the manosphere, red pill, men-centric content space, brothers in their 40s say date women late 20s. Nobody's saying go get you a 20-year-old. So I want to correct that. Sure. Nobody's saying that, because you know that's still a brain ain't even done developed. If you're a 40-year-old man and you messing with somebody in that age range, that's crazy as hell. Now, what they are saying is go get a younger woman. What I believe that shit works, because that's the household I grew up in. My parents still married. My mama, my daddy, they put their stuff together. Out I came. So they've been married 43 years. They are 12 years apart.
Right.
You have to build like that though.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna give you some pushback, Kofa. In the movie, the fucking grandfather, Mr.'s father, he told him, and I quote, you know, when CD left, go get you some young woman. Ain't that the same shit we're saying in the manosphere then?
Yeah. So also like that, when you put in hard ages on it, but younger. Go ahead.
But Kofa, also just to also push back and with TJ's point, I heard people say if she's 40, trade in for 220s. So now we're supposed to assume that means 29. And then also we talk about when women are most fertile. It starts from what? 21, right? So how are we saying it's a 29 and a half year old? I never heard that. And then they often use the Leonardo DiCaprio scenario where every time his chick get around 28, 29, he get
Yeah.
another 23-year-old. So I'm not sure. I hope that's what they saying. What you saying, Kofa? But that's not what we be hearing. So how are we supposed to discern it?
That's an excellent question, DJ.
That goes back to the movie of seeing black men as these predators that only like little girls. Because when we're talking about grown ass women, everybody then want to take it and scale it down to like he talking about a teenager, like back in the early 1900s. Brothers aren't saying that. It was crazy. Flip the coin over, Hamp. When women say, I want an older man because he established, because he got this bread, don't nobody bat an eye. When you're looking at it from the perspective of the older man with a younger woman, he's nasty. But that younger girl with that older man, she's smart because he's established and he's more mature.
Or
So nobody bats an eye. All
you're
we gotta
really
do is
saying the
point
same
over.
thing. You're really saying the same thing.
Or flip that coin over one more time.
Yeah.
My bad.
If I could real quick, I could. If you said flip the coin, right? If you flip the coin, I will share mine. I was 12 years old, and I was having sex with a 48-year-old woman.
Right.
Goodbye, sir.
Right.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? One day, go over there to rake leaves, go in the house unannounced, didn't knock until I was done. She's standing in the kitchen, butt naked with a robe on. I say, "Dang!" I'm looking like, "What's woo?"
Viewer discretion is advised.
Right.
Seriously,
So,
like what
I
the
mean,
heck?
12 years old, baby. She said, "You
We
want to
just
touch
had
it?"
we just had to kind of access around here at 12 years old. We just wasn't
You know
around
what I'm
grown
saying?
people for them to
It
be
happened to
doing
me
that.
though. It happened to me, and for years, Kosher, for years, I'm thinking she taught me everything I need to know. Man, I'm finna go to this high school and tear these girls up. What? And you know, but the whole time not knowing, you know, when I got older, my sister said, "Man, you need to go talk to somebody about that." You know, I never told my mama because my mother would have buried her. But you need to go talk to somebody. And keep in mind, this was my godmother. So I'm over this woman's house. I'm over my godmother's house. I'm raking the leaves, and I go in. She showed me everything. She said, "I'm gonna teach you stamina. I'm gonna teach you how to do this, that. This how you. This what a woman like. This what she don't like, right?" And then she get a car. She was letting me drive a little car, and my mom thought it was nothing. She over there hugging my mom at church on Sunday.
Right. But you know what, TJ, you said something real quick. I want to add to what DJ Hemp said, and I think it was a very fair question. But let me say this. A 20-year-old in Africa or certain countries in Africa, certain countries in South America, it's not the same as a 20-year-old here in America. In general, if she live in the countryside, it's not the same. It ain't the same. And so in Colombia, like give us like Dre, my man Dre's 56, his wife is 29. I don't have, if a man got his stuff together, he got money, he got status. My daughter husband is older than her. He's 40, she's 25. I don't have a problem with it. And she loving me. He's a good man. I got nothing but love and respect for him. And so I don't, you know, this negative notion that, you know, if a man want to deal with a younger woman, she's a boogeyman. Some Kofa said, I want to clear. As a therapist, is the brain still fully developed at 20? No. But in theory, just because it's not developed, it does not mean that they don't have reasoning and the proper faculties to make good decisions. Because if that was the case, how could a 14-year-old, where her brain was quote unquote undeveloped at 14, outdo the average 20-year-old now? It has a lot to do with nature and nurture, has a lot to do with socialization. A 20-year-old in foreign countries is totally different because their life experiences are different. So they have to adapt. Now, they might not be comprehensive in everything and knowing everything when it comes down to making decisions, but they have enough comprehension to know right from wrong and to make good decisions. People assume just because the brain is not fully developed that they don't have all faculties to make good decisions. They might not be comprehensive. Piaget talked about something called abstract reasoning, and then he talked about it's abstract reasoning, then there's something that's called concrete reasoning. They have enough abstract and concrete reasoning where they can see between the two. It might not be as comprehensive as a 30-year-old, but the life experiences a lot of times compensate for that. So if a man is 40 years old, 38 or 40, he said, I want to date a woman that's 21, I don't have a problem with it from another country. If she's mature, she's been trained to be a wife, she's wife ready, I personally don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it.
Coach, from a clinical perspective, you said the brain does not develop in a male at what age?
Well, so the research says the brain is not fully developed, like what Kofi was saying, up to about 25. But the presumption is because the brain is not developed, then they're gonna make a bunch of bad decisions, and that's a myth. That's a myth because the human experience is shaped in an interplay called nature versus nurture.
Right.
And you know, like me and Mashawn, we Gen X. There were 20-year-old women back in the day that were very mature, extremely mature at 20. but it's how children are socialized now. Children now don't have the requisite social skills like generations of the predecessors from the past.
Not at all.
The environment shapes how we think and how we move. Life shapes how we think and we move. There's an old slogan and saying that says, tough times make tough men, but good times make weak men and women. And so we're in good times now where people might have the technical knowledge and savvy, but the interpersonal skills they lack. Even to the point now, you got some grown women that's going through damn arrested development. They can be 45, 50, 60 years old, but developmentally, some of them are still in their 20s because they're still in that stage between intimacy versus isolation from 18 to 40. 18 to 40 is the stage between intimacy and isolation. But you got grown women that are still in that intimacy versus isolation stage where they should be in that stage that Erickson talked about called generality versus stagnation. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, question on if we're saying that's the case now, and we're in times of weak people overall, shouldn't that guard against the fact that men should be dating such young women then? So if these women are developing more slowly, right, and they're younger mentally, shouldn't we not take these younger women? If you're saying from in the past they were further developed, now they're less developed because of soft times, that means that we should probably wait for them to get older for that very reason.
That's a fair point, but here that's an excellent point, DJ Hemp, but here's the problem with that. Men have a biological imperative to look at a woman's physicality many times.
Indeed.
Men look at the mind and the body when it comes down to a woman. Is she feminine? Is she fit? Is she fertile? Is she shapely?
Yeah.
You know, the mind does play a role, but most men when they looking to find a woman, they ain't looking at no mind first. They looking at that body.
They really not.
Yeah, they ain't looking at no mind. They looking at
They
the body.
not, and that's why they in trouble.
Yeah. Listen, somebody told me the only they want is some money. That's all.
That's
you
it.
know, and so when a man get money and status, he want him something young, tight, and dynamite. All right. And let the church say amen.
Hold on a second. Speaking of old money, Kofa, read these super chats. Let's pass the collection plate at the church. Hold on.
Money talk.
Go ahead, Kofa.
What? I was reading fine. Hold on, Kofa. I was reading fine. God damn it. That first
one,
be funny.
It was like 3 words and you couldn't get it out, bro. Come on now.
Hey, Quiet Storm, hold this.
You keep talking, man, and you shut the fuck up.
Go ahead, Cole.
International Quiet Storm, put some respect on his name. $5 super chat. He says, DJ Hamp, say it with me. I'm Floyd Mayweather.
Put him in the fucking bench and get him out of here. Come on.
Damn.
I'm Floyd Mayweather, and I support iHeartRadio. Y'all know that dropper. You've been over Theo chat. Yeah. Chris Creative in the building with the $5 super chat. He says, why would you ruin your Christmas by watching that mess?
Man.
That part.
Hell of a Christmas gift.
International Quiet Storm back at it with another $5 super chat. He says, a shadow chick? I thought that was only for fat chicks that's pushing 350 pounds with cankles, neck fat, and 12 turkey legs.
Oh my God. Okay, go ahead. I didn't know that. I didn't know they had qualifications.
Hey, Quiet Storm, don't knock it till you try, bro.
I didn't know that. I didn't know 12 turkey legs.
Corey Joe, salute to Corey Joe, man. He always in my chat with a $2 super chat. He says, cook, Kofa, cook. I will continue, brother. We all will. Gregory Scotland with the $5 super chat. He says, when we get past the boomer and Generation X black men, there will be an increased separation. Those two generations are still about the community.
I promise you I'm not. I promise you.
There's a storm in the building with the $5 super chat. He says, so do you guys owe modern women an apology? Women haven't changed after all I see.
You know, right, RBN?
Right, what kind of shit is this? There's a storm. Can we reverse the goddamn super chat?
Shit.
Damn, that's crazy.
Oh my God.
I got an apology when you get done. I apologize to him.
Yeah, some apologies need to go around.
Yeah, I got it.
I apologize.
So as we get these super.
Gary S with the $5 super chat. He says, great show and great panel. Appreciate that, good brother.
What up, Mr. Gary?
There's a storm back at it with the $2 super chat. He says, "Great observation, DJ Hamp. Goat mode."
Look, we don't need you pumping this brother head up no more. He already know.
Nah, man. Culture Invasion Podcast with the $5 super chat says, "For the adult beverage fund, let's go."
Yeah. Oh, dang.
Bob, hell of a name. Bob with $2 super chat says, "Is she white?"
Shout out to Bob.
I don't know what that was in reference to.
I don't know. No, she wasn't white.
Big brother Andre and Andrea from Love Crossing Borders with the Colombian pesos, 40,000 Colombian pesos said, "Married my wife when she was 23. She's bilingual, successful corporate tax accountant with an old soul, and her master's degree here in Colombia. We celebrated our 4-year anniversary in Europe last month.
Right.
U.S. women develop slower."
Right. That's what I said. Right.
That's what he said.
Mike Brown with the $20 super chat. He says, "What up, panel? Great convo."
What up, Mike?
Celine with the $10 super chat says, "I know a girl in a Christian group. I'm in from the U.S. who at 18, her parents fully approved for a 47-year-old to marry her. If that man came to me and my husband to ask to marry, he'd be 6 feet under."
All right, everybody who gave a super chat, I got something for y'all. All right, thank y'all for the super chat. All right, Hamp, did you get your thought? You have a senior moment?
Can I get in real quick before y'all cut it out?
Yeah.
Thank you to Katrina for the $15 Cash App. And also, I want to step in and say this real quick. For the subject y'all was just talking about, how the younger woman with the older men, I'm going to share with you why this is good. For anybody who wants to take heed, I'm going to share with you why this is good. If you get a woman that is in your age, okay, you and her are neck and neck in age, you cannot teach her. You can't teach her how to be your wife. You need to get someone that's younger so you can teach her. The main objective is when you marry is to teach. It's not that you and her compete. And that's the problem with the women in our culture. That's why if you want to get married, you get someone that is a little younger than you. Because my husband liked to always tell me, "You're a child, go sit down." I'm 7 years younger than him, but he'll tell me, "You're a child, go sit down." Even when we drink, even when we drink something and it's too strong and we went to like a gala or something, he'll tell me, "This grown folk drink, go sit down." So that's why I'm saying to you is that for you to get the house in order, she has to be a little younger. Because if she's in your age, you and her are neck and neck, she gonna tell you, "You can't tell me nothing."
Yeah.
So that's just my take on it, you know.
Unless she's been trained to be a wife, but that's an excellent point.
Exactly.
Unless she's been trained to be a wife, but
in America, this is rarely. They rarely.
No,
don't
you're
train
correct.
you.
No, you're
I'm
right
right here. I'm right here.
But think about this, guys. Let's
You
look at
right
the
there. But
I'm right here. I'm right here. He's just not listening, but I'm right here.
I'm gonna let DJ because I'm gonna cross him because but look at this in DJ's turn. But if you think about it from a theological position, you know, Adam was here long before Eve. Adam had him a young woman. They weren't born around the same time. So, you know, if Adam had him some young Titan Dynamite, if you got your money right, you should be able to get you some young Titan Dynamite too, as long as she's mature.
You just need to make it. You just make sure it's worth it, because a lot of times they'll get that young Titan Dynamite and then they end up in a whole mess.
Mary was 14, guys.
EA Alexander, what is his name?
Go ahead, DJ Hemp. I know you wanted to talk. I apologize, brother.
Well, no, I just have questions. So take heed. Who's raising these women to be young and ready for marriage?
Nobody.
So are you saying we have to start from scratch and teach a woman essentially how to do women shit?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds
I'm
like an oxymoron.
That's counterproductive.
I'm I'm gonna share with you something. The man is. I always tell women on my channel, the man is the first teacher. He's the first teacher.
He's the first.
Like your
So when
father?
you come into your husband, say that again.
Your father?
Say it again.
Your father?
The father is the first teacher, but check this out. Most women in America, right? There's no father there. She doesn't know what kingship looks like.
Indeed.
So when she enters the home of her husband, she doesn't know how to tend to him. She doesn't know how to handle it. So now her husband will become her teacher. He has to show her how to take care of him. This is every husband's job. I don't care what part of the world you live on. This is every husband's job. Because remember, if she does have a father, she's leaving one father to go to another father. And that's you, the husband. So the husband has to teach her. You first of all, the wife is the husband's project. So if your wife is indignant and she acting nasty, she don't know how to be respectful, she get out of line, that means you didn't finish your project. That means you didn't finish your project.
That's
so
actually
damn. Go ahead on.
No, I hear that. But that's what often is happening to men these days. All the responsibility and accountability continues to fall on men. Because you just said, yeah, but the thing is, people have to be willing to be led though. Because we can't use different punishments nowadays like they used to before to get people in line. You can consequences can you dish? But wait, just put 1 second, right? Because what consequence do you dish out other than to leave her if she doesn't get in line? Because you said
and if
she's
out
of line.
in the first place.
Yeah, if you
that's
said,
right.
Take heed, you said if she's out of line, then that falls. He didn't finish his project. There's no accountability for her.
I see your point.
Okay, listen. Let me give it to you. Hold on.
Yes,
let me give it to you.
Go ahead.
What happens is you're gonna vet her. You know, we always talk about vetting, right? We always talk about vetting first. So now you know why you're vetting her. If she is a wife, if she's able to follow you, if she's able to get on your plan, you're gonna learn this while you're dating her. Now, if she can't do this while you're dating her, there's no need to talk about marriage. There's no need because you're going to be in the dark. If you bring her in your home, it's going to be a problem.
So what you're saying is we just keep her as a side chick?
No, you don't keep her.
You don't keep her at all. That's how niggas get caught up with
So Jesus TJ, that's actually an ill segue to the segment for Harmonize and I. But I had one more question, if you don't mind, for Mr. Clinician. If you don't mind, TJ.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Clinician, so I coach high school football, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, see, I'm learning as you was talking, right? But now I'm having an issue with these young men pursuing these young girls now because of the point you made that gave me an epiphany. So when I'm coaching the freshmen, these dumb motherfuckers can't learn no concepts. You're right. Shout out to the kid.
I feel what he's talking about, though. I feel what he's talking about.
Too, I understand.
So you smell me, right? So now when you get to the 18-year-olds, now I don't have to have a one play call for 6 blitzes. I can call 6 blitzes. You know what I mean? And now it gives me more fluidity. I can call smoke. You know what I mean? I could do a whole bunch more because they understand concepts. Many more concepts. So now I'm taking this, right? My understanding, and then I'm just an employee in the other gender. So the younger, they dumber, right? And then, but as they get older, they understand more.
Right.
So why would I not employ that same logic to the women I'm pursuing?
So your question is, I'm trying to contextualize what you're saying.
My bad. I filibustered. I shouldn't. That's my fault.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
So I'm trying to contextualize what you're saying, DJ Hamp. So are you saying that because boys grow up slower, we should have that same level of reciprocity for the girls? Is that what you're saying?
Well, what I'm saying is the boys just can't consume as much information and then employ it when they're 14. But when they become seniors, they know so much more. Now, granted, they've been in the system longer, right? But they can just retain so much. So now I'm using that same logic because you told me that people are developing slower, and I'm just thinking the younger, the dumber. Essentially.
Right, excellent. I see your point. So yes, once again, I said there's an interplay between, we call it nature versus nurture. The question is, did nature cause the effect, or did nurture cause it? Nature would be the socialization. Nurture would be the genetic predisposition. When it comes down to boys, a lot of times, I think the prevailing factor with a lot of boys, DJ Hamp, is this. They don't have the structure and discipline to learn it. It's not because they can't learn it, but they have not been trained and socialized to learn it, because a lot of these boys are born in single-parent homes. They don't have fathers to give them guidance, to give them structure, to give them discipline. Fathers elevate the mental structure or the mental nature of a boy. Some of these boys are delayed, DJ Hamp, because they're not getting their rest. As a clinical therapist, we look at things, do what's called protective factors and risk factors. But when we look at things through the lens of protective factors and risk factors, we use a metric called the locus. It's called the level of care utilization system. When a child is in a very dangerous environment, when the child is not getting proper nutrition, when the child is not getting his proper rest, when the child is not getting the proper guidance, that child's IQ can be slightly lower versus somebody that's in a structured home getting good nutritious meals. Do you see my point? So if those boys are coming from inner cities where there's no structure, if those boys are coming from areas where they're not getting the proper nutrition, that child can be in a temporary state of arrested development because they're not getting all the things that are necessary that can nurture them into manhood. Boys need the instruction, the wisdom, and the guidance of their fathers to push them into manhood. But that's circumnavigated when you have nutrition, when you have good environments. That increases what we call the efficacy of a child. But a lot of these boys are delayed because they don't have all the protective factors to push them in a state of progress.
Okay, I understand that point. Now, this is PG County, so these kids are affluent, but I understand and catch your drift, though. You feel me? I don't want to.
Well, parents now, man, they don't parent kids no more. They don't parent anymore. So they too busy trying to be the children's friends. They don't parent, and these kids now are hyper stimulated, and they're greatly distracted. And so in the past, what they would do, DJ Hemp, they would take the boys, and they didn't have boys and girls in the same school. I think if you took those boys and put them in a camp, and put them where there was no girls and no distractions, I promise you that IQ could increase based on how you re-socialize those boys, re-engineer those boys in an area. Because in the old tribal cultures, when they were going through a rite of passage, what they would do, DJ Hemp, they would take the boys away from the mothers, because mom said, "Oh no, don't take my baby out in the wilderness." But no, dad said, "Shut up, woman. I'm trying to teach this boy how to be a man." So he would take him from the distraction, which was the mother and the women in those families, and he would take them out in the wilderness. And that boy had to be reprocessed to go through the rites of manhood.
Word. Shit like that.
All right, before you get going cooking, Hamp, with you and Almond, let me go ahead and pass the collection plate real quick, okay?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Money talk.
All right, go ahead, Hamp.
Celine with a $10 says, "I know a girl in a Christian group I'm in from the U.S. who, at 18, her parents fully approved for a 47-year-old to marry her. If that man came to me and my husband asked to marry, he'd be 6 feet under."
Damn.
The International Quiet Storm with the $5 says, "For tonight's therapy session, ellipsis, unless you want to ruin your Christmas dinner, avoid that remake at all costs. Just sit down and watch Die Hard." Lauren was popping with the $5 says, "What the hell is being trained to be a wife? Y'all mean an adult?" Respectfully.
No, we need a wife. That's two different things.
Right.
Hold on. Take heed. Are you there?
Take heed. Bathroom break.
You know I'm here.
Okay. You want to respond to this super chat real quick?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
So when I say being trained, every woman has to be trained to be a wife to her husband. I didn't say any man. I said she's going to be trained to know how to treat her husband. So yes, a wife needs to be trained, especially if she has never got any training while she lived at home. And if she had never had a king that resided over the home, she actually, and I'm gonna share something with you, and only why I say this is from my experience alone, is that she's actually gonna be a nightmare for her husband if she never saw kingship at home.
Okay.
So yes, my dear, every woman has to be trained. Every woman has to be trained to her husband liking. Just like, and then I know a lot of women get offended from me saying this, but there has to be a program that the husband has, and she has to be able to understand the program. So she has to be trained. I know you don't understand it right now, but when your time comes and you get a little older, maybe you'll get it. Or you might be old enough already, and you probably just don't want to get married and you just don't care what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you have to be trained to your husband understanding. That's how it works.
Hold that thought, Coach. I want to get through the rest of these bills, okay?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
But Sean, this one's for you. Go ahead.
Romello was popping with the $5. He says, as Mashawn would say, you ain't going to here, Mashawn, you say how you say it.
Shout out to Romello for the 5. He said, as Mashawn would say, shout out to also the International Quiet Storm. I'ma tell you not gonna tell me. I'ma tell you. All right. Shout out to him.
Romello. There's a storm with a $10 says, how long you been married? Because you're not young. In all due respect, take heed. He is trying to make you feel good. Young is still young. Man cannot teach women to be a woman. Stop the cat. What culture are you?
Oh wow, I got everybody coming for me tonight. It's all good though, baby. Yeah, it's all good. So what it is that nope, I am not a young woman. I'm not. You could tell it in my face. But I've been married close to 16 years to a wonderful king. So what it is that, and the culture that I am from, I'm American, but my husband is Nigerian. So my husband, when I met my husband has an ideal of how he wants his family to be run. So when we were dating, I had to understand the program. And with me understanding the program, he made me his wife. Right. So I do not take offense because you said I don't look young. I have no problem with that. But I'm younger than my husband. So he likes to throw that in my face.
Mm-hmm. And then also Desert Storm, did not say that a man can teach a woman how to be a woman. She said to be his wife. That's different.
I did. I said wife. Yeah.
All right, DJ, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Culture Invasion Podcast with the $5 says, for the love of your message, a light in the darkness. Mm-hmm. V. Ben Israel Shalom with the $5 says, a 2003 AARP study reported that 34% of women over 39 years old were dating younger men. Man. There's a story with the $2 says, almond eyes make this make sense.
I have no idea what he was talking about.
That makes to us.
Ignite was popping. He says, salute him, give it to him raw, no bacon on it. You already. Mark Cooper with $2 says, apology, hell no.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Miss you,
that's how you say it?
Yeah.
Miss you with the Canadian, that's Canadian, right? $5 Canadian. Thank you, Michonne, for bringing together this great panel full of beautiful people with beautiful mind, spirit, and knowledge.
Shout out to Mishu. This is actually all RBN's great idea. Shout out to RBN. Appreciate you doing this.
Shit like that.
All right, Kosher, we're gonna drop down, and then Hemp and Arm they're gonna talk about. Let me play the clip real quick. They're going to talk about black male leadership, specifically, pointing out, how the character of Harpo represented how weak black men are. So let me drop everyone down. Let me play that, then let them go ahead and cook with this. I'll be right back. Let's see, Coach. All right. Let me see. I think this is the clip. Hold on.
Sophia, that's
Mhm.
I'm gonna be together. I declare you it's slower than Christmas. Come from the house. I thought you said we gonna meet.
Dear God, Harpo be in love with a girl called Sophia. Now she be a big girl. Mister say he wanna have a look at her. I see them
What
coming
is she
way
got?
up the road. They just be marching like going to war.
All right. Like, so, okay. So you see how Harpo running up behind us. Sophia got that, linebacker march to the middle of the field. Yo, it's Lord have mercy. So how is I just don't. Okay, how is this film continues to, put out the notion that black men are just weak. We need a woman to drag us along. We can't control our woman. Later on in the film, Sophia and Celie and Sophia, they're tending to the garden. Harpo wants something to eat. She go tell him go get it herself. She walk off, hand him a rake, and go do something else. And then he's sitting around trying to figure out how to control this woman. Is this a fair assessment of black men today, Hamp?
I mean, what was LTJ? Friday, you really brought some shit in the frame for me. You were saying, why don't the women on my panel treat you how they're treating these other niggas? The majority, too. Right? And no shade to them, right? But why is that? Why are those men not resonating with them?
Like, treat me or you?
Treat you. How they treat you.
Right.
When you ever had to have wild smoke with them on the panel?
Never.
So I'm saying, why is it like that? They seeing these men in a particular light for whatever the reason is. These the happy wife, happy life. This is what men perpetuated, right? And then if men are being raised by women alone, they taking on more feminine traits. What happens then?
That's why.
These men are in partnerships and they deserve it. So I'm not surprised. Harpo is an exaggerated depiction of the partnership, man. Happy wife, man. But that is what it is today, right? Because if you can't pay all the bills, right? If you can't do X, Y, and Z, she got more say so, right? Like my wife, one time she was making the kids' place before my, because they can't do nothing. I said, man, fuck them kids.
What'd you say?
Fuck them kids.
Fuck the kids.
And she like, oh, they can't do that. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if they 4 of them to another. They can kiss my ass. Them niggas don't pay no bills. They don't know if they hungry or not. Make my shit first. And it didn't last long, right? But I was coming at her, but it wasn't like deep, you know what I mean? But I brought it to her attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, or make the plate before I get here, and then I don't know who plate made first. You know what I'm saying? But it just, this is what the men qualify for. So just like what damn, what was her name? My fault. Take he was saying, right? These men ain't ready to be husbands, i.e. Harpo. Right? You know what I mean? Harpo went fight a speeding ticket. And then this is the woman, he knew what she was when he met her.
Yeah.
So now you surprised? Like that, and then you expect them to change? If you accept the flaws and all, and that's one of the flaws, you can't be surprised when she beat the Snoop Dogg shit out you.
Right. And here's for me, Hamp, just to sidestep back to the ladies on your panel.
Yes, sir.
I come up there, I let the women be women. They gonna say derogatory shit. They gonna go low, bro. I know that from rip. So why do I spend my time focusing on them and their nature and not the issue? I keep my shit to the fucking issue. And then I say the thing that I say, and I say it unapologetically. Whether they like it or not, I don't give a fuck. If a woman that I'm talking to, if she speaks to me, if the woman if she wants to fuck again, none of that matters to me. Especially when I know I'm right about something and I'm going to stand on something. So, and I think that comes across. And let me tell you something, Hamp. I didn't get this way. I wasn't born this way. I could see a lot of the former TJ. I see a lot of Harpo. I identify with Harpo a little bit, But the guys that come up on the panels and they interacting with the ladies, not just on your panel, any panel. I told you at times I'm sitting back and I'm watching this shit, and I actually did a stream about this. A lot of times the reason why women are responding this way is to a lot of these guys, these women are confused. They're looking at a dude, but they're getting female energy from a dude. And they're short-circuiting with these dudes.
Let me give you a little bit more credit than that, though, right? The shit you just said is the reason why you're going to be legendary in this shit. Because you ain't a fucking superhero on the internet all of a sudden. You ain't one of these niggas that never had a flaw in his life. You tell the truth. See, people, women be overdoing that women's intuition shit, but they have a level of discernment, though. And at the very least, they could tell you ain't a lying ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? Pardon I'm talking so hard because I just feel like that is probably one of the overarching things that get left out sometimes, TJ. So I just want to make sure I give you your flowers because you don't be like you'll say shit like that. You'll say, you know, my mom, my grandma, etc. I met my dad at 40 years, you know, whatever the time is. Like people don't be that transparent. And I think when you do that, you gain so much respect and garner so much respect. So I want to make sure everybody hears that and understands that about you as well.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't understand, you know, and let me tell you something. I deal with, in my day-to-day life, I deal with the Sophias of the world every day. But the Sophia treatment only comes to me once. Because I believe in getting you where you stand. If you felt the need to do me like that, I don't care if I'm not saying this like, you know, like I don't need my ends or something like that. I don't give a fuck if I'm at work. I don't care if I'm at church. I've gotten to the point I don't care if it's my grandmother. You come at me sideways and out of order, I'm gonna get you where you stand. Fuck that job. My grandmama gonna get what the fuck she gonna do? The moment I stop paying her rent, she gonna get out. She gotta go.
Shit like that.
And if I'm with my woman, she don't like something I got to say. Guess what, Hemp? Hey, ain't no bars or electric fences on my goddamn door.
I seen that in real time. Remember?
Yeah,
real shit. I already know.
I was let me just a sidetrack real quick, just to hit the point home. The last chick I was dealing with, she had a problem with the fucking with the live streams and shit. You know, she had a fucking problem with the live streams. And the first time she said something about it. I said, you got two fucking options. I said, you can help me build it, or you can shut the fuck up and get out of my life. And I told her to her just like that.
Real shit. Yeah.
So, but a lot of us are depicted like Harpo.
Yeah.
Sorry, Armin. I didn't mean to.
No. We were actually pretty succinct. That wasn't a long time. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's up, Armin?
Hey.
Go ahead. What you think?
I don't even know where to start, y'all. We talking what y'all talk about, Harpo. But I want to say this, Hemp. I appreciate you saying what you just said, the TJ, because I be telling him this stuff. I don't think he'd be sinking in. So for him to hear it from somebody else lets me know I'm not crazy. So thank you for that. But Harpo, I agree with the part about him being an over exaggeration, but with that being said, it's not that far off from what's going on now. But there a lot of the reasons why I think Harpo was presented in that light and the things that went on are not so far from what's going on now. There was, even though, you know what I'm saying, he grew up in the house with Mr. didn't really raise him. So we really didn't, because I don't think Big Albert raised Mr. either. He was just there. So it's just kind of a trajectory of we in the house together, but I'm really not going to pour anything into you. It was just kind of more this is what you got to do, go do it, don't embarrass me type of situation. So with him and Sophia, like you said, I don't really understand how he wanted Sophia to be different from what she was, but he didn't have any idea of how to try to make her different, so to speak, because it's like he never saw a successful relationship. Because I mean, Mr. and Sealy wasn't in love. Him and Suge, Mr. and Suge was dysfunctional. Again, we never saw Mr.'s mama. We never saw his mama people after she got killed by her boyfriend coming home from church. Like there was just nothing that Harpo saw, or nobody that poured into him, where I understand he was expecting something different than what he got from Sophia.
Let's say Harmonize for a second, we consider the propaganda of that time in those days in the 80s and 85, right? Without the access to information, right? You had everything going on at that time with black fathers, the crack epidemic, et cetera, and then you couple that with the movie to put Harpo in that light and to make Sophia so strong. Doesn't that help kind of perpetuate what was happening at that time? And movies and music last a lot longer because it wasn't like iTunes back then. What you think about all that?
It did, but I guess because I use common sense and logic. Sophia, saying she was so strong, and she her Harpo fought, and then she left Harpo, and then she got with Henry Broadnex, who just let her do what she wanted to do. Didn't she end up in jail for knocking out the mayor? So for all that strength and I don't need a man and I got things under control, did she end up in what was essentially slavery all over again?
She did.
So that strength got you messed up. So
Armin, if you had to use this as an analogy for a message to women today, what would you tell
them? Being on your own is not. That's not the plan. That is a 100% foolproof way to end up in dire straits.
What about all the strength and all that black women, are alleged to have or say they have? What about all that?
If you look at it, it's really not strength. It's because they're not strength to me. You're persevering. You're withstanding something. You know what I'm saying? But it's not permanent. This stuff that we doing as black women, all this is permanent. It's going from grandmama to mama to you passing it on to your kids. It just keep going line after line after line. At some point, strength runs out. So this is what is the strength getting you? It's dysfunction that we're packaging as strength. It's not, because I mean you want to be strong, you're saying, to make it through and get over the hurdle, to rise. Not to just be 20 years down the road still doing the same thing, fight and trying to maintain. We're just maintaining dysfunction and calling it strength.
So question, if you're saying that the men of today are Harpo-esque and you think that he's not an exaggeration, what are women supposed to do with that?
No, I think I think it is an exaggeration, but the problem is there really isn't anything we can do but you gotta start with a better foundation. Like you cannot expect to create men in situations where there is no man. You have to have something to emulate. You have to have something to copy. A woman can't teach a man how to be a woman, just like a man can't teach a woman. You know what I'm saying? You can't flip it. You do what you know. So if all you know is all my life I got to fight, all my life I had to fight, then that's what, no matter what situation you in, that's what's in the back of your mind is I got to fight. So even if you do end up in a good situation because I got to fight, you're gonna come up with you're gonna create some kind of scenario where you got to fight and you're gonna blow it up. So if you're in a situation and you're like, okay, we got to create men, then you need to recognize that what you thought was a man is not a man and get around some men. Now, it's probably not, I can guarantee it's not going to be comfortable because it's not something that you're used to, but it's such a different experience that, how can I say, I'm sorry. I know my parents. My parents was married 4 years before they had me. So all of this, everybody got a different daddy and different mom. I don't know nothing about that. So I have to try to work to try to try to imagine what that's like, because I don't know about that. But it's a different way of doing. You can't.
Let me ask you a question.
Go up with a bag of salt and think you're gonna leave with a 5-pound bag of sugar. They look the same, but that is not the same thing.
So let me ask you a question. Would you advocate for little boys when born to be allocated to their fathers?
Absolutely.
Because you know that if you look at the numbers, they say 70% of our children are born out of wedlock.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, but the 47% of our children have involved fathers.
Right.
So really, that number drops to like 53%. Whatever the other math is. Because fathers are there at a much higher rate than that 70% gives credit for.
Right.
Once you actually drill it down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering, are they not having enough time with their fathers? But again, I ask, if these women are strong and these men are weak, what are the women supposed to do to be out here to survive? Like, if there's not suitable partners, or what do you think there's more of? Weak men or strong women? Are the women too strong and these men are actually weak, but it's just hard to get together with a woman that thinks she's so powerful?
I think it's some of both. Women, these are definitely not as strong as they want you to believe they are, but on the flip, these men are not as weak as these strong women want you to believe, because their definition of weak is not really weak. Like, for them, abuse is anything you doing that don't feel good to them, then they want to, put it in that broad, scope of, I'm being abused. So we could be, we're in a relationship and you want to go to Hawaii for 3 weeks, and he telling you, look, we can do it, but when we come back, you're gonna be eating peanut butter and jelly and bread and water for a week, or we can go for this week and a half, and you can come back and keep doing what you was doing before we left. To them, that's you weak, because you need to figure out how to give me what I want. Damn. So, the definition of weak is it. We don't have a concrete, flat definition of what weak is. So, because that, varies from woman to woman. So stuff I might think is weak might not be the same thing that Mashawn might think is weak, or Tahiti might think is weak. And then we could all be wrong, and then weak could really be something else. So
I got a quick question for everybody, Hampton, Almanize, and in the panel. The Harpo syndrome. I saw something in the movie last night that made me think that, maybe ask the question, ain't Mr. and Harpo the same guy?
Absolutely.
The reason why I say that is because remember when he brought back Suge Avery, the thunderstorm, when she called her ugly and all that good stuff. Mr. helps her upstairs, so he up in the room with her trying to help her get out of her shit, that wet shit. And what did she tell Mr.? She called him weak. I don't need no weak man. I need a man. I need a strong man. So the question is, what would he have done? Why didn't he do to Suge what he would have done to Celie if Celie would have said that?
Suge had him by the nuts.
He loved Suge. He didn't care nothing about what Celie had to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't care anything about what Celie had to say. They could have both.
You see how you was acting around her? He was a completely different dude. Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on.
Child, when he was down there trying to cook that breakfast.
Yeah, he tried.
Yeah, that was the kindest thing he said to Celie that whole movie when he asked her where was the butter.
Yep.
A 3-hour movie. That was the kindest thing that man said to her the whole time.
And when she left that rocking chair.
Oh, child, he threw the kerosene. Yeah, I'd have been gone. Yeah, I'd have been out.
But the house was calm when Suge was there, because she was screwing to both of them, so the house was calm.
Exactly, and see that's why I think nobody had a problem with Suge being there, because he was kind of Celie, he was kind of Harpo. Daddy ain't have to worry about Mr. doing nothing crazy. Mr. was cool when Suge was on the scene. I remember when Suge left, Celie fainted when the clock was off.
So the question is,
was coming. He did faint. Remember when she fainted?
So why is that? Why is it that what's the difference between how Mr. views Suge versus how he viewed Celie? Why would he not be the monster he is with Suge that he is with Celie?
Well, it's like what Celie said. He beat me for not being you. I don't think he had anything against Celie. It was just the fact that you here and Suge's not. I love her, but you know what I'm saying?
Say that again. Say that again.
I said, I don't think it was like what Celie told Suge. She was like, he beat me for not being you.
Oh, you said something else, Mister.
Oh, so he loved Suge.
There you go.
He wasn't in love. He wasn't in love with Celie. Celie was just there. So I mean, even though we saw Mr. You know what I'm saying, abusing her.
Almond, hold on a second. Hold on. Gotta let that resonate a little bit.
True, but let's keep it a bean though. TJ. Nowadays, Pretty Privilege get the same results that Suge got.
God,
yeah. That's what it really is today.
And that's where the problem come in.
Yeah, that's what really love, whatever. Niggas don't even know what love look like. But Pretty Privilege, that gets you on a yacht in a minute.
Hey DJ, and a lot of women on my channel
But it
say,
doesn't keep you on the yacht though.
yeah, it don't. But
it keep you on.
A lot of women say it don't exist, DJ.
What?
But if you at the club,
once they get smashed, it doesn't keep you. I'm sorry,
no,
but
you good, baby. Go ahead.
It don't work in the club, you said?
No, I said once you at that club and you walk to the door with your homegirl, because a lot of women say it don't exist. When you walk to the girl with the homegirl and the dude and the security guard there, oh, you can come in. And then your homegirl walking behind you, he said, no, not you, baby girl. You good.
Yeah.
That's pretty privileged right there.
Like, man, I DJ. I can go downstairs.
Well, I know you know that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was with friends left outside. I was like, oh, that's cold. That's cold living. I'm gonna tell y'all about what happened.
Before I was married, shout out to my wife. I'd be like, yeah, I'm like, my friends will come. I'm like, if they with you, they're like, nah, they are now. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's just definitely a fact, you know?
Hey, TJ, real quick, man. I got to run in a minute, brother. Been a powerful show, man. Enjoyed you. I did a show on you yesterday, Take Heat. Make sure you check it out. I don't know if you saw it, but
no. Oh my God.
Yeah, you're fit for the kingdom. Make sure you check it out. Shout out Kofa. But real quick, TJ, this will explain. I sent a clip talking about thinking errors, cognitive distortions. If you don't mind, for about 2 minutes, if you want to roll that real quick, I'll pop off in the feed. But I've enjoyed this. It's been extremely fun.
Which one is? Did you load it up in the bag?
Yes, sir, I did.
Which one is it?
It's called cognitive distortions.
Well, it's not labeled. They all say kosher clinician. What does it look like?
It's the very first one from my face.
With the guy?
Okay.
Distortions are a more balanced and accurate perspective, leading to healthier emotions, behaviors, and relationships.
And I would say that's the crux of the matter. A lot of unresolved mental illness, especially that's been perpetuated towards black men. In a nutshell, TJ.
Cool. Yeah. So I asked the question about the Mr. thing, about him being Harpo, because under Suge, Mr. looks like Harpo. And I was sitting there, kind of going through it last, I'm like, why is this that? And I came back to, I just said about the pretty privilege, how men respond to women that they're actually in love with. Is Mr. a different man if Suge's the wife?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally. Absolutely different.
Absolutely.
So I ain't trying to get all biblical. This is more hemp style, but there's a reason why God, gave the charter to man to love his wife. Mm-hmm. There's a reason for that. Right. There's no expectation from God for a woman to love her husband. It isn't. Right. But there is one for the love the wife, and you see. Celie is an example of what happens when you got a man who doesn't love you.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy.
And I was
heavy.
Out in the, huh?
I said it's heavy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think the subconscious damaging that it does is with this film, it showed a black man who didn't love his wife. So we're looking at Celie as his wife. And we have this image in our mind about what a wife is. Wife of a man is something you would die for. But so there's the disconnect of seeing this brutality, but he's supposed to be caring enough to die for her. That's the conflict there for me when I'm watching the film. And when I see Celie come in, basically, not Celie, she'll come in, you know, his hoe, come in, telling him you ain't no man, you're a weak man, and to his face, I need a strong man. And remember, Celie asked Suge, would you marry Mr.? And she said, yes, but he's a weak man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she said he can't get from up with his dad.
That was crazy. But Celie didn't view Mr. as a weak man.
Mm-mm. Even though he was still weak, because I mean, you know what I'm saying, that kind of, he didn't have to treat her like that. Even though he didn't love her, he didn't have to treat Celie like that. But I think because of what went on with the first wife, I think he had daddy in his ear. You got to tighten up. You got to get a strong hand. You know, you got to make a mind. You know, this, that, and the third. Because I mean, for his first wife to get killed by her boyfriend coming home from church, she had a lot of free time.
Well, Mr.'s father was in the same situation as Albert. Because if Albert's father, if Mr.'s father, his wife had a boyfriend or something like that, that's crazy.
Yeah, but that's what they say happened to Mr.'s first wife, or her and their mama. She got killed by a boyfriend coming from church. But we don't know what happened to Mrs. Mama, because it could have been, you know what I'm saying? But whatever the problems with Mr. we're gonna start with Mr. The problems with Mr. We got to go all the way back to whatever went on with Mr. and his mama. I don't think she didn't pour into him, and he turned out like that, and we never see her. So in my mind, I'm thinking she might have run off or something happened to her, and then so Harpo was really messed up from the beginning, because again, this is not pouring anything into him. Mama out here running around with a boyfriend, so she clearly didn't have time to be pouring nothing to Harpo. Harpo was just out here running blind. He didn't have any idea of what he was supposed to be doing, and then the information that he was getting, he was just kind of piecemealing together, trying to make it through life. Because even when it was in the field and Mr. was shoveling the hay or whatever, and he was talking about if you don't hit her how you expected her mind, Harpo was like, I don't really want to do that, because I think in his mind he's like, well, I mean, you doing that with Celie, but y'all really ain't in love. Like, I love Sophia, I don't want to hurt her, but I need her to do what I need her to do. So he just
Sophia.
Keep in mind the first introduction of Harpo to Celie is he hit her in the head with a fucking rock.
With the rock.
Sure. Right. Rock. Yep.
Right. So yeah, Harpo, he been void from the beginning. I mean, from like when he first saw him.
To one of your points,
Miami. Well, I mean, we know that.
To one of your points, in order for us to find out what happened with Mr. and his father and the mother, that would mean that Mr. might turn into a sympathetic character, and we can't have that, because remember
exactly.
Remember what Alice Walker said. This inspired her imagination. Remember she said that in the opening clip?
Mm-hmm.
She never seen anything like, personally, and it was a work of fiction.
Mm-hmm. Well, true. Yeah.
TJ, oh my bad, somebody's about to go. No,
this is why Tyler Perry is so famous now. He the new Alice.
Exactly true.
TJ, what's ill about what you said too? Just bringing up the verse. Verse 28. It literally says, love your wives like your own body. And then love your wife as you love yourself. Because you're not going to hurt yourself. Right? And from when you just brought that out, it almost speaking to the carnal nature of men because of how you could treat women back in those days in Ephesus when, he was talking to them. So that it just resonated. Him putting that, like, love her like you love your own body. That's for a reason. Love her like you love yourself. That's for a reason. You know what I mean? When you put that out there, that really resonated. You know what I mean?
And not to go all biblical, but remember, the other verse is talking about, love your wife like Christ loves the church. What did Christ do for the church?
He gave himself.
He died. Yeah. And by the way, everybody, the church ain't a building; it's the people.
It's the people. Yep.
Exactly.
So you gotta love as a man. You gotta love your wife like Christ loved the church, because there may come a time where you gotta give up your life to your
lay down your life.
And so, how do you ask a man to give up his life for something he doesn't love?
Fact.
But you know what? You know what, TJ? Since you're talking from a biblical standpoint of marriage, no, I'm not going to go all biblical either. However, we go to the altar to pray, right? We go to the altar to get married. The altar is not something that says, I think I'm going to do it. An altar is something somewhere you go to make a sacrifice. And when you stand at that altar, you're making a sacrifice to, I'm going to live for this woman, and that woman is making a sacrifice that I'm going to live for you. And there is no leaving that sacrifice and then going and doing your own thing. Once you sit there, you're dying. Yourself is dying there at that sacrifice, because it's no longer about you. The Bible says the man and the woman, that when they get married, they become one flesh. So it's not me no more and her separate from me. It's not her bank account, my bank account. It's not her mom. You know what I'm saying? Everything comes together, but we don't have that. And so you see the reflection of that today.
Yeah.
Last question: How valid was the marriages with that Jake and preacher they had? Because now y'all know Suge Daddy was not straight, and he was officiating all that nonsense that went on all the way back to see the step that married that little girl Gray. None of that sanctified and righteous. None. All of that was nullified.
I got a theory about Suge Daddy.
Well, none of that good. None. No.
I think Suge Daddy was aisle 5 at Walmart.
Suge Daddy was wild.
He did some for himself.
That's the aisle the sugar on.
That's not right.
Yeah. One of the things I really wanted to get to in this, which I think is the overarching theme of the book, which is that Black men are something that Black women have to survive. And I got Mashawn and Take Key to go with that. But before that, we got to pass the collection plate. Hold on.
Here we go. Money talk.
All right, go ahead.
Every time I see that, I cringe. Maybe God is trying to tell you something. No, he been to use a hoe.
Go ahead, Almond.
Suge have been the most honest one of all of them on there. I'm just saying, other than Steely.
Yeah, honest hoe.
I'm gonna go ahead read the super chats for me.
Okay, so we got Desert Storm once again. The DJ Hemp. Now you're talking. Let's get it. CMBR. All right, this might be risky.
Yep.
All right, we got Mark Cooper. Hey, Mark. My father told my mother is 14 boys back here. Get your ass out of the way. This is my job. All right, now. Okay. Mark back again for $2. Wait a minute. Teach boys to feel, men teach boys to think. Oh, women teach boys to feel, men teach boys to think. Okay.
Teach how to spell.
I don't know.
Everybody don't have that. So cool.
Somebody
all right.
just became a channel member that somebody doesn't tell me which channel he became a member of.
All right. Hey, Cooley.
Thank you for that. Let me see. Actually, there's a couple more.
Okay, we got Jason Bourgeois. Became a member as well. All right. Welcome.
Yep. And then
Vincent. All right, welcome.
Became a channel member. I don't know who though. Doesn't tell me. All right. Let's see. Let me drop everybody down except for. Oh man, let's see. All right. So, Messy Michelle. Hold on. Let me get this off the screen.
I got you.
Oh, okay, appreciate it. All right. So, the overarching theme, I think, of the book, of the movie, I keep calling it the book, but because it is a book, the movie is that Black men are somehow something that, Black women need to survive. I actually have a short clip. Let me see, where is it at? There we go. And I just want to play the short clip. Here we go.
Now comes the time for me to tell you.
What?
It's time for us to go.
You're such good people. That's the truth. Salt of the earth, but it's time to move on.
Celia is coming with us.
Say what?
Celie is coming to Memphis with us.
Over my dead body.
You satisfied? That's what you want?
Now what's wrong with you?
You a low down dirty dog. That's what's wrong. It's time.
All right, you're a low down dirty dog. So, are black men something that black women need to survive? Oh, Michonne, you muted.
Sorry, my bad. In that movie, yes, absolutely. I'm serious. That would, and if it wasn't for the whoredom that came back, she may have still been there and still going through the same daggone stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So
now, if you're, go ahead.
So you're saying the whore saved Suge?
She did.
Yeah.
The whore. She did. But I'm just saying now, again, if somebody is bringing all that into today, that's, it's like we're so far removed from all of that, in my opinion. So I go back to people just want to be put upon.
I don't know, because when you listen to black women still today, I was having and I get to the point where I don't even want to, I know this is going to sound horrible. I get to the point I don't even want to talk to my grandmother no more. She 83 years old, and today she went on this whole diatribe about how black men don't take care of kids, and how black men all they want to do is kick your ass, and and I'm just like, first of all, lady, do you not know who you're talking to? And the answer is no.
But why is it like, that's pretty sad at the end of the day that somebody is about to be, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude because I respect older persons, but we at the end of life basically, and this is all you got to say at this point?
Yes.
That's got nothing to do with the color purple. That got to do with her or whomever, honestly.
But you hear a lot of time, Mashana, we see on the video clips, and our ladies, some black man has done them so awfully wrong, and they had to get over and find the good Lord and had to be born again, new virgin, 18 kids later, and 8 day baby. We know that, but it seems like black women are. It's like it's like the narrative of black women is that they're not really women unless they've survived some kind of atrocity.
Because they half damn crazy, okay? Because that sounds half damn crazy. If these people, it's no different than what I usually say. You want to waste your life trauma bonding and worry about some mess. It's called life. That's what it is. Like we've all been through things. We all got issues. If you've had relationships that don't work out, you either keep doing the same damn thing or you do something different. That's on you. It's up to you. Like, I can't relate. I just can't relate. I think it's really absolutely ridiculous. And it's a mental thing, which is why I always say all of them need daggone mental health help, but we know it's not going to happen. And I know I get hate for that because I always do, and I do not care. But all I'm saying is that if you have a problem with some man over and over and over and every man in the world, because I can come back and say, all right, well, I don't have all these problems that y'all do. Now what? You're wrong. You're wrong. Girl, go to hell. That's what I'm talking about. That's your trauma. Just because that's your trauma, that don't mean that's all of our traumas. And it's not like I haven't had no issues with men before, but how am I going to, one, hold that to every man in the world? And two, why the hell is it that I'm going to take that and say that it's your fault that happened over here or anything like that? It just sounds stupid. I can't relate. Sorry.
Take heed. Did we just go ahead, take heed.
So I'll say this. In this movie, yes, she was trying to survive Mr. Okay. In this movie, yes. Because of her not being Suge. Yes. But in this day and age, right? How can we say we trying to survive Mr. when we take Mr. where we found him?
Girl.
We find Mr. on the corner selling pharmacy products. and we go and sleep with Mr. and have all these children by Mr. And then when you get with some other hyenas, all y'all done slept with Misters. And so y'all all on social media talking about Mr. did this to me. But in all reality, y'all did it to yourselves. Because I can't sit up here and tell you, oh, well, I can't sit up here and say, okay, well, my situation is different from yours. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit up here and tell you, oh, this is not right what you've been through. But what I can tell you is that take accountability for your shit. If you knew that you did some nonsense and you went out there sleeping with somebody who sold pharmacy products and you was baby mama number 3, then yes, you have to take accountability for your shit. You mess with Mr. and you got to take accountability. That's for the day and age now. Women should not be in huddles talking about, oh, black men ain't this, black men ain't that. Because let me share something with you. Truth be told, shout out to truth be told, y'all all sleeping with the same men.
Facts.
Okay.
That part.
All black men don't have children.
Hotter
all
than
black
fish
men
grease.
don't have children. But let Oprah tell it. Let Oprah tell it. All black men don't take care of their children. All black men are evil. Let Oprah tell it. But truth be told, all y'all fucking the same man. Okay,
Exactly.
That's what's going on. It's just a recycling. That's why Pookie and Ray Ray be having like 10, 12 children in the same project. Everybody related. So when women decide that they're gonna wake up and take accountability for your shit, you're gonna be able to get out of these groups where all these hyenas from the boneyard is there. Shout out to Crimson Spirit. You're gonna be able to get out of all those that boneyard where all those hyenas at, because then you're gonna get some clarity. Okay? Because my wake up call was in my I believe I was like in I was about to hit the wall. I was close. I was close to the wall, like 3 steps from the wall. Okay. And I kept saying, why I can't find any men? Why I keep messing this up? I kept saying that. Why am I messing this up? Because it's something in you that needs to change. It's something in you. You have to learn accountability. It's something in you. And thank God my husband saved me from the 3 steps. But I'm going to share something with you. I had to pump out those babies like back to back. Boom, boom, boom. It was too much. Okay? But I'm telling you, what I'm trying to say is that, my sisters, it's time for you to take accountability for your shit. Black men are not your problem. It's the black men that you're choosing.
Exactly.
All black men are not your problem. But let Oprah tell it, all black men are the same. And that's not true. Because you will have some good and you will have some bad. And black women, you will have some good and you will have some bad. That's just my take on it.
Well, let me just add to the fact that everything, I agree with everything that you said, but that's why I don't understand sometimes. We in 2023 going into 2024 still using stupid ass excuses from 1909 to give reason why you can't find somebody, you can't get married, and then turn around and say that people like me and Tiki, Bella, and Mona are the problem when ain't nobody bothering y'all, ain't nobody of us bothering there, not none of you, but you find a way to come and bother us because you mad, you hate it. The truth is a daggone truth. You can't get it. So instead of acting like a normal person and going ahead and asking some damn body, you would rather attack because that's all you got. Then at the end of the day, as soon as somebody say you an angry daggone black woman, you're going to be mad talking about that's racist. You know, we don't play those games. Everything is racist. So I'm going to need you to find a new daggone excuse.
Yes.
And I'm tired of them using slavery.
You was not that slavery.
Slavery. This is slave master.
You have to act right because of slavery. Yes.
They're about to add the color purple. I'm gonna have to add that to my shtick. The color purple is the reason why I can find a man.
Yeah.
That was the next step
every
after
time
slavery.
turn around, that's what they talk about.
That whole era, that time frame, that color purple. You gotta remember, slavery had just ended in not what 100 years ago. So you still in the South, you still doing all this work in the sun. That's why they had missed out there pitching hay. So it's still that Southern, I guess, country backwards mentality. And that's why they're gonna pivot off of slavery and see like, oh, the white man treated Mister so bad. That's why he came home and beat Celie and beat his woman. And
even though we never saw that in the movie.
We never saw it.
We never saw that.
But
TJ brought up a point when we were talking.
Oh, sorry.
TJ, you remember your point? TJ, you remember your point? When me and you were talking earlier, you said you wanted to make sure you got it in about the times Mr. B. Celie.
Yeah. I'm like, Kofa, I be having these senior moments like a motherfucker.
He don't remember nothing, y'all.
But no. I noticed in the movie because another theme in the movie is the fact that Mr. is violently abusive against Celie. But I noticed there was only 2 incidences in the movie. They only depicted it twice. One at the beginning, when she was combing the girl hair, and then almost, and when she was reading the letter. Yep.
Well, I think TJ, the only problem I have with that statement is you put only in front of it. So is you saying 2 ain't enough?
No, I'm not.
Right? Like, there's no only. Like, 1 is, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm just talking about, what they want us to gather from him is like he's this big, vicious.
That's his nature.
Yeah, that is nature. Yeah. But if that's his, like when we saw What's Love Got to Do With It, we saw Ike whooping Tina ass.
Every 5 minutes.
Every 4 frames, to hammer home. But I guess Alice Walker said it's her imagination. So she wanted us to imagine that on the day.
Celie was getting that work.
She getting that work put in on a daily basis.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So even oh, my bad.
No, I just found it interesting that I'm not saying that the character Mr. isn't a brute, but if that's a central theme, why didn't we see more of it? Or even I'm not knocking backhands that he gave, the 2 different backhands he gave her. Why wasn't these beatings more vicious and violent? Sophia's knocking people out was more vicious and violent than what we saw Mr. do.
This is true.
Yeah. But then that goes back to that scene that all my life I had to fight scene. Because she went down the list. I had to fight my daddies. I had to fight my dad. I had to fight my brothers, plural. Had to fight everything was about fighting a man. So it wasn't nothing for her to hit whoever. Because she needed to get it out. Because she had been abused. She had went through. That was the overarching theme for a lot of it for me. Now, a lot of sisters took it as Black women triumph over their, struggles and stuff with Black men. But it was just pretty much Black men were incapable. Because you look at Suge Avery daddy, he was pretty much incapable of forgiveness up until the end. Like, even to the point where she came back from Memphis, she was like, "Oh, I was married now." That favorite scene, I was married now. He slapped horses and they kept on riding. That day she came into church, I just wanted to stop by and see you. He got up, he walked out, he closed the door. So even though this man wasn't abusive, this starts sprinkling in lack of communication.
He was emotionally abusive.
We here now. Say what?
I said he was abusive. That was emotional abuse.
And see, that's what I'm talking about.
By today's standard, that would have been emotional abuse.
That's what I'm saying. He lacked communication. He lacked forgiveness. He lacked understanding. But this man, the preacher of the town, and his daughter, the town jump off, or the county jump off. Let old man Albert tell it.
Okay, well, he was supposed to pray her. He was supposed to pray her to the other side. He was supposed to pray her to redemption. Not act like what happened while everybody still knew.
Look, everybody still knew, but at the same time, he can't have her up in the choir.
No, I ain't say she had to be up in the choir.
And then it's just interesting too, because we saw motherhood as something hard from the women's perspective when we saw Sophia Celie. They had to take care of the children and all that. But even Sophia was like, Harpo, come get this baby. I got something else to do. I got, she passing the kids around. told, Lawrence Fishburne character, get my children out of here when something jumped off. But we never saw the adults' children. We never got that story. We don't know what happened with Mister's mother. We really don't know what happened with the girl's mother, Celia and Nettie. Could we end up finding out that one?
Daughters either, because remember Harpo had 2 sisters.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So all the different layers and stuff, we don't know where this trauma was passed down from. The only thing we're seeing as far as the trauma is coming from the men. So it's like we're incapable, can't keep our hands to ourselves, can't communicate, can't do. And to bring it home, now we're getting ready to do it in 2023.
Mm-hmm. But they had to.
Like we've been talking about we've been talking about the old film because the old film is what we have as a baseline to go off of. But it begs TJ's question at the beginning of the stream: why now? Why 2023? We know what the story gonna look like, and y'all niggas gonna sing and tap dance y'all way through this shit. Everybody getting their ass whooped, still happy than a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use that.
Come on, bro.
Hey, Kofa, I'm gonna use that question. I'm gonna steal this from him. I'm gonna use that question as your final thought. So we can get on up out of here. I told you guys, we ain't gonna do 7-8 hours. I asked it at the beginning of the question. I asked it at the beginning of the stream, why now? So we can go around the panel. We're gonna start with him. You can answer the question and then your final thoughts on what we've been doing tonight.
Nah, TJ, I just want to say, man, salute to you. You know what I'm saying? Not only did you put this idea together, but you put so much pain and effort into it. You know what I mean? So much so, like, I'm like, damn, I ain't responding 24 hours. I feel like that's bad email etiquette. You know what I mean? That's how you made me feel. You know, like when I was typing back to you, I was typing the correct, like grammatically and shit. That's how I felt like it was professional, not like a text message. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you, man. Why now? Yeesh. After all that, I didn't even think about that, you know? Why now? Why not now? You see our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, you know? So, you know, if we don't know anything and we perpetuate poor culture as it is, what's a little bit more sprinkle? You know, the question you just asked to the ladies, pain is pleasure to us. Free yayo, right? The drug dealers get praised. If you put bullets in people, if you've been to prison, we tout all that stuff. So why not surviving a man? That's how she gained her stripes. But we gain our stripes in the street. That's why you got niggas from wherever trying to claim Bloods and Crips. Because in our culture, to be tough, to be hood, to be that nigga in that way is what gains you clout and reputation. So when she could say I got striped from surviving some black man, she gained clout and reputation, and she could perpetuate that message throughout the sisters and permeate and create a YouTube channel. So, I mean, it just make a whole lot of sense to me, you know? So we just got to keep fighting. And we got brothers like TJ, Kofa, Mr. Clinician, you know, and, you know, but these, you know what I mean? That's doing the right thing, saying the right things. And I'm just trying to do my best to follow suit so that we can continue to perpetuate positive messages and hold each other accountable to the point where something got to fucking change. So I appreciate y'all.
Shout out to you. Shout out to before I get to that question, I apologize. I missed a super chat. I'm sorry, a cash app from Wu-Tang, and he had said, shout out to you, honey. I appreciate you. How about the fact a woman said to beat another woman, which I know that really wasn't part of the topic, but that's, to me, the way that I see that, it's just like, it's another way to bring somebody down. Why would bring another woman down? Because really there's no sisterhood at the end of the day. I always say that. Ain't no sisterhood. It's misery loves company. If I'm miserable, I want you to be miserable too. And I'm not going to help you. I'm going to hinder you. Okay. That's just how I see that. That's my 2 cents. So why now? I guess after listening and hearing like all of like your points of view and everything, and looking and knowing that this is like a woman's empowerment movie, I guess you could call it, to go along with all the rest of the woman empowerment, hear me roar, all that foolishness. That's probably the reason why, besides the fact that Hollywood can't seem to make an original movie any daggone more, let alone Negroes, because all they got is the same daggone thing over and over and over again. Shout out to side chicks of daggone Los Angeles. We ain't got nothing positive going on. Ain't nobody crying out here to say nothing about it. They go along with the mess and then turn around and carry on about all the daggone problems, but you don't want to change nothing and you support foolishness, and that's why it continues to be the way that it is. So in essence, at the end of the day, Negroes like foolishness, okay? So here we go with more foolishness instead. Because, I'm not trying to go off. Where are romance movies at? Where the romances at? Where the rom-coms at? Ain't none.
Still, give me some.
Reality damn TV and his daggone gangster stuff. Not saying I don't like some of it. And then it's the remake of the damn Color Purple. Do something original. Child, we got all this opportunity, 2023 going to 2024, more opportunity in a little bit. Tyler Perry owns his own damn studio. We can do whatever the hell it is that we want to. People still sitting around here talking about white supremacy, discrimination, and racism. Child, if y'all don't go to hell, that's why. Just one more reason to whine and complain and to blame. That's what I say. Shut up, you. And yes, let me go ahead and say thank you for putting this together. This was awesome. Y'all know I don't do no damn panels. I don't be camming the hell up either. So shout out to y'all and for TJ getting me to be here and do this. Thank you so much.
Good job. All right.
I'm out. I gotta go to work tomorrow, y'all.
All right, exclusive.
See y'all. Thank you.
Harmonize.
All right. Why now? I would say it's a quadruple down attempt. We as Black women can't be wrong, and over the course of the last decade or so, it's been a spotlight on how we have made a conscious decision to conduct ourselves poorly in the world, and we really been taking some L's, especially recently. So we got to bring the movie back out. We got to, get everybody, all Black women back on board with, there's nothing wrong with us. All our problems because of Black men. Again, like you said, Black men are something we got to survive. And it's a quadruple down attempt to remind Black women there's nothing wrong with us. We perfect. All our problems because of Black men and white supremacy. And we just victims. And if you keep the same message repackaged in a different way. Okay. So the original Color Purple was the cough syrup with grape flavoring. This is the strawberry flavoring version, but it's gonna be the same.
Time to tap.
We perfect, y'all the problem, and we don't need to fix anything that we doing, and y'all need to figure out what it is y'all gonna do, but we gonna tell you what you need to do all at the same time.
All right, take heed.
So my 2 cents to this whole thing is because, and I know some of y'all not gonna believe it, but we actually need each other. And they know we need each other. They know it. That's why they put out content that make us look crazy to dislike each other. That's why they put out content like this to make us dislike the Black man even more than what we dislike him now. Because we're the ones that's on top of our brothers while they down on the ground. And we're supposed to be the ones next to him, whispering in his ear, telling him, King, get up. King, get up. You can fight. King, get up. But no, we are the ones that's kicking him. And all they need to do is push out garbage like this that helps the agenda. Now, yes, there's an agenda. There's always been an agenda. But Black women have they took the agenda and they just ran with it. So they got in their heart that all Black men are evil. That's why it's so easy for them to jump on any narrative that a Black man is there. That's why Brickgate was so powerful, and it had so many women up at arms. Had so many women in my content mad with me talking about, sis, how dare you? And like I told them, I'm not with the sisterhood. I need to see receipts. So this movie had to come out again, because you want to know why? Women like me, women like Amanize, women like Mona D, women like Crimson Cure, okay, women like Messi Mashan. This movie had to come out again, because they see there's a crack and a shift in the sisterhood. They see women like me saying, love your husband, be good to your husband. They see women like us preaching this. So this video had to come out to show that Mr. is evil, that the black man is evil. So this had to happen again. And because they know if we decide that what we doing, what's going on is wrong, if we start loving each other again, they know this is a problem for them. So they need to put all this gender war nonsense into play, because it helps them. It helps them. And you know how it helps them? It keeps their prisons full. It keeps their prisons full. Because if we not together, the children can't grow. It keeps their hospitals filled too, of our children being pumped up with medicine. You see what I'm saying? When we're not together, all nonsense happened to our children. But we haven't got that yet. We haven't got that yet. We think running around here buying all this expensive bull crap out here, trying to look good for the Joneses, who got the next Birkin bag. We worried about that foolishness. Or if he gonna take me to Cheesecake Factory, we worried about all this foolery instead of worrying about let's make love, let's get together, let's love each other, let's have children that got a sound mind. We not worried about that. We worry about little Pookeisha running around here singing Sexy Red song. We worry about that. We not worried about the things that need to build our families. And I'm done. And I want to say one more thing. Thank you for inviting me. I greatly appreciate it. I enjoyed myself. And I want to share something with you. I have never done a panel where the hosts have so much emails that talk to you, that do everything efficiently. I love it. And I'm going to share something with you. You can always invite me. I will come. I will come. No matter where I am, I will come. And
Right
thank you. I appreciate it.
Stick around for a few more minutes. We can chop it up afterwards. Kofa.
Why now?
Hold on. I want you to answer this question, Kofa.
Okay.
What do you think they're going to do with the character Mister? Is he going to be the same, or is he going to be worse?
He's going to be roughly the same. Coleman Domingo is a hell of an actor. If y'all don't know who he is, that y'all may not be sci-fi nerds like me. He's
No. I know who the cat is. I'm talking about Mister as a character. Do you think they're gonna make him even more of a brute in this remake? Because we don't know, because we ain't seen it. Or you think he's gonna be about the same level as
he's gonna be about the same. And the reason why I'm saying Coleman Domingo, because he's a hell of an actor to bring that character home. If it's anything close to how long black women was mad at Danny Glover for being Mr. Coleman Domingo is the guy that's going to bring that character home. So I don't think he's going to be worse. I don't think they probably wrote it worse, because again, you got to remember it's set in the same time period, and it's a musical, so they're not going to delve too deep. I think it's going to be more nuanced, more of, hey girl, see there, I told you that's how they act. I think it's going to be more surface level. That's what I believe.
Okay.
You think they're going to be worse?
I think so. Yep, Coach.
Well, I like what DJ Hem said. Why not now? If you go back to the ancient times, Eve blamed Adam, and the lack of self-development, the lack of self-awareness, the perpetual cycle of victimhood keeps the modern woman in a suspended state of animation. She will never evolve to the woman that she can become. And I like what Take Heed said. It could be also possible because there is a shift. There is an awakening of black women understanding, like Sister Take Heed, that men and women are better together. But sadly, the election time is coming, and the one way you keep a Negro down is to make him a victim. And so that's what white liberals always do. They make the black man a victim. They make him be in a perpetual state of victimhood. And they never rise up to the mantle of what our ancestors did. We were better before integration than we are now. And so it continues to push this Marxist narrative that the men are bad. It continues the destruction of the family. And you'll never see a semblance of what our ancestors had in the past. You know, people always say this old stupid mess, them women were married and they were miserable and all this goofy stuff, but yet they don't know about the struggles the black men went through trying to maintain those families. You know, I was in Wilmington last week with my cousin, my father. My dad is 80 years old, and I want to show him love, you know, before he cross over. But you know, in Wilmington, North Carolina is where black excellence started. Wilmington and also in Durham. And some of the longest railroad systems, or the longest railroad, was started in Wilmington, North Carolina. So it's the continual divide to keep black people segregated, to keep us in a state of dysfunction, and to continue to get the woman the power over the man to make him feel less than, which in essence is bringing forth the rise of the passport bro movement. I always tell men that they can't find a wife here in America. I tell men to travel and try to find your wife in foreign countries. You know, because the pickings is slim, man. It's hard to find traditional wife-ready women that are willing to be taught. And, you know, he said something earlier about train. The word train is synonymous to teach, but women get triggered when they hear the word train, but yet when you go on a job, you get trained. When you go to war, you get trained. When you go to school, you get trained. When you go to college, you get trained. But when it comes down to being trained to be a wife, to be a wife to a husband, all of a sudden they think oppression and slave. So it's thinking errors, just like what I talked about a few minutes ago. But sadly, some will learn, others won't learn, and the ones that won't learn, they're gonna be singing that song by Patti LaBelle, "On My Own" with a glass of wine, a cat, and a dildo. So,
all right, Hamp. Do me a favor. We got a couple super chats. Let's get through those, and then we're going to call it a night.
All right, send them more. KP was popping with the $2. He says, this film will definitely send them to lesbianism.
It was already there.
Damn. Right. I'll go get ready to hit your money clip for me.
All right.
I'm broke, baby. Ain't got no money? Bullshit. I see you shining, nigga. I can smell a motherfucker with money. Even Ray Charles can see you got money.
Dingo by choice with the 20 ball. Salute to TJ and the Panda.
Shit like that. Shit like
Keep
that.
standing on business.
Look, hey, as much bread as I dropped over there, you brothers could have gave me a little bit more money. That's right. I'm complaining about $5.
Wow.
They know I'm just fucking with them.
There's a storm with the $10. It says your husband, Nigerian men are scammers. Pookie and Ray Ray sell meds. Ellipsis, what's the difference? Black women are not screwing the same man, by the way. Them, they, y'all. Who y'all talking about? Oh, not y'all, though. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
If we ain't been up here 3 hours, we would address that, but we're going to ignore the foolishness without.
Oh, I can't get that one.
Go ahead and take that. Go ahead and take that.
I can't be toothpick Kofa.
Go ahead and take that. Go ahead and take that.
When that shit boiled down to it, we always complaining about women. Chief complaint is that men are liars and cheaters. Correct? Everybody on the panel in the chat agree that.
Yeah.
Most women say that men are liars and cheaters, right? How in the fuck can he cheat if he's not sleeping with another woman? That means there's one dude for multiple women. So multiple women are getting piped by single men. One dude. There's a handful of guys out here because we love calling men simps and suckers and everything else, and he ain't getting no cat. But we love the hoes, but we know even the hoes have options. She gonna go with the most money. She gonna go with the most who she's attracted to, whatever the case. And women know it'll be one dude fucking 5 women, 3 of them know it. Won't nobody say shit. How the hell these kids got? I say it all the time. How the hell these kids got the same daddy and don't have one?
God damn, Kofa, we gone.